Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Themis and Thought. Grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're doing, go drinking, go and get that. Today, we're going to be talking about Love Island finale, but there's more general conversation happening about KC racism, colorism on Love Island. This video will, in fact, stay up. So, just putting that out there now. Before we start, let me say that first and foremost, if I were Kada, seeing my date compared to everyone else's date on the finale would piss me off. They literally had Kada swimming with her hair did to a table in the middle of nowhere for her date. Her hair was absolutely messed up, her hair and makeup, by the time they got to this table in the middle of nowhere with dried bread for her to munch on with Zach. And
Yeah.
and,
I
and
can't even. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. No.
No, I want you to continue because I don't really have much to say.
Just for her to come back to this villa, lying to them girls about how Zach told her he loved her. The same Zach that starved her.
Mhm. More
The
than
same,
once.
more than once. Thank you. the same Zach that laughed in her face after Casa, saying he loved her at night and then saying it was a joke. The same Zach that lied to her about Hannah and not bringing her back, but he could have brought her back even if he wanted to, while knowing that Hannah was removed. And for y'all who
Alana.
don't know, Alana, I think keep saying Alana, Hannah, Alicia,
Yeah, it
Keith.
don't matter. She was there for 2 hours.
Why? Um, it's Alana. Yeah, you were right though. It is Alana. Um, even though she was kicked off for racism, right?
Mhm.
This is the same Zach that refused to make their relationship official. The same Zach that is in love with Bryce. She came back to the villa after the dusty date, like it was a dusty date,
It was.
and lied to them people talking about he said he loved me. And you know it's bad, specifically for Kada, when your friends, instead of saying, oh my God, that is so good, someone, forgot who, said, quote, tell me exactly what he said.
I want to say it was Melanie because I feel like I'd be able to pinpoint Anaya and Trinity's voices. I
Right.
don't
Same.
recall it being either of them. I think it was Melanie. And she
Right.
asked the right question.
No, she did. She did, because they know Kada be out here lying. And instead of doubling down and saying, oh, he told me I love you, Kada is gonna say that it was I love you was on the tip of Zach's tongue.
Mhm.
I love you was on the tip of his tongue. So he never said it.
Mhm.
so,
No, he
so
just alluded to it like he alludes to everything, yeah.
it would be wild for a man to refuse to enter into a relationship with you but told you he loved you, Kada. Please, girl, please. So, Kada, sounding like Rihanna at the JC concert, like they smoke 10 pack a day. It's just a chop for you, girl. Like, I don't know. Mind
It's
you,
just
I love Kada's voice. I do.
love it.
Go ahead.
No, I love it too. I love it so much. That's why I find it like so funny because when people mimic her, it's not like to actually make fun of her. They're just trying to like capture that like raspiness of it. It's so funny. But I do love her voice. No, I just feel bad. I feel really bad because she's coping so hard. And it's like and I would say the same thing about Melanie. Like I know I'm pretty sure like we're gonna have a few words about her as well. I feel like all of this would have blown over a lot easier if Melanie didn't react the way that she did to Sincere's like misconduct, for lack of a better word, because ultimately it didn't matter enough to her to actually part ways with him. So at the very least, like not to say that I prefer how Kata's going about it, but if you have really no intention of like leaving the guy, I'm just a big proponent of like not putting yourself under a lot of unnecessary like stress. right? You've made your decision. You want to give him another chance. I may not be in support, but it's your choice to make. But it's like, if you find yourself having to make excuses and go back and forth with people who you know have your best interests at heart, that should tell you something. And the question is, why isn't that telling you enough?
Right. Right. At least, I mean, this is not a good at least, but at least Melanie not lying to herself about who sincere, what
No,
sincere did, and
she's not. No, in fact, she's telling him. I mean, it may be futile, but she's telling him, you need to make this up to me. I'm willing to give you another chance, but you have to offset all of the harm that you've caused.
right. This is the Kata voice.
You're a grown man. Speak the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. What? Zach, where the fuck are the boys? No, I'm not gonna kiss you right now. No, because I'm in a couple with Zach. You're a grown man. Speak the fuck up.
Zach.
It was so good. No, he did it the best. He did it the best. So good.
Zach. She sound like she smoked 10 pack of cigarette a day and the voice is
It's
tired,
cute
girl.
though.
No. It is cute. It is. I love her voice so much to the point. Like, I feel like if Kata could sing, Kata would sound like Jasmine Sullivan. Unfortunately for Kata, and I do mean this with all sincerity, Kata cannot find the right key to open the vocal doors to find the right note. So it's very chopped, but I do really love her voice. I love a raspy voice. But yeah. Any opening thoughts before I hit the intro?
Honestly, I'm ready to get into it. I do agree that she would be a good voice actor for sure.
She sounded like one of them cartoons. I forgot. Like she sounded like one of them ladies on one of them cartoons, but I completely forgot which show it was, which cartoon it was. Don't care.
Like
Nothing about
Susie, it's giving Susie Carmichael, or like maybe like the Black Girl in Kids Next Door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into. Don't do Jasmine like that. No, it's a compliment. It's a compliment. I love the raspy voice. All right, let's get into the video, because I do actually have a separate video about Casey that I need to finish recording and get ready to post this week. So let's do it. Okay, first things first, I'm the realist. Anyway. First things first. The winner is Trinity and Bryce. Period. 8 down. I didn't think anything. My ranking was. I thought Trinity and Bryce was going to win, and Iron Call was going to come second, Mel and Cynthia was going to come third, and Kata and Zach was going to come fourth. That's what I thought. I just wanted to switch Anaya and Trinity's spot, because I don't like Bryce and I really like Carl. That's the only reason I wanted to switch first and second. But I generally thought this was how it's going to play out.
My vote was Carl and Anaya, but I was very happy to see Trinity and Bryce win. Or really, I'm indifferent to Bryce, if I'm being honest. I don't dislike him. I was so happy with Trinity winning. I was so happy with her being the winner for this season. So even though I stand by my decision, I do feel like it happened the way it should have.
Yeah. Famous black men are really crashing out about Casey. Call from Love is blind. Dusty behind is crashing out. Oh, no. Yeah, I have a video. So this is going to be very Casey heavy, but I also have a video coming out, hopefully this week, about Casey specifically. It's not dragging him. It is hopefully constructive criticism and my hopes for him in the future. But one of the things, so that's the summary of what happened in last episode. That's what you need to know if you want to go watch. I was bored throughout all of it, but I did enjoy it. It was heartwarming. I love Carl and Anaya's date. I also liked Trinity and Bryce's date. And everyone now is talking about scamming and this is not real and blah, blah, blah. Ain't nobody believe none of these people were real.
Right. Like, are we really, because we know who they're talking about, right?
Yeah,
I just find it so hilarious. People aren't actually talking about Melanie and Sincere, nor are they talking about Kata and Zach. And I'm being very specific when I say nobody. I'm talking about the KC defenders. They could
yeah.
not care less about those two couples. All they care about is Brinity, Carnaya, and TT and KC. You expect me to believe that out of these three couples, TT and KC were the most real? The same KC that basically shot down what Anaya was saying when she talked about like chivalry and wanting to be, not treated like a princess. I think she said like something about a fairy tale, and he pretty much told her like we're in the 21st century, like that we're not doing that anymore, just for him to put TT on a scavenger hunt. Him making fun of Trinity and Bryce for making things official, but yet after just what, a week and a half asking TT to be his girlfriend. So that was real to y'all. You expect me to believe that? In what world would that be real?
Right, right. And let's be very clear. None of this is real. That's where I'm gonna
Right.
go. This is a game show, and it is what it is. To pretend that it is anything else would be absolutely diabolical and insane. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I don't care what these people have to say. We are not in these people's heart. We don't know what is real and what is not. This was the same thing they said about Nick and Alandria last season, and they're now pretending that they were stands of Nick and Alandria, pretending like Nick and Alandria is the standard. And in some ways they are, but they also hated them. Actually, Jesse will block Alandria. You know what I mean? Like, let's not pretend that you are now like these huge fans of Nick and Alandria and you think it is so unique and genuine and they're in love. Yeah, none of y'all believe none of that.
None of
It's
it.
all a chop. All of this whole love thing is a chop. This is about a brand and who can play the game the best. We've been known that. I ain't playing this game with no one. All right. That being said, I think before we even get into the episode, I need us to get to Sincere and Sincere's family.
Yes, let's do it.
Um, so Sincere's mom or aunt, I think it was his mom, went live while they were watching the finale. And let me pull this up because I have to play some of what was being said. And by the way, this is actually quite disgusting.
It is.
So
Very
that's
disgusting.
that's the first thing I need you all to understand how disgusting all of this is. So let's play. No, let me log in. I hate that for me.
Yeah, no, I have a few words for Sincere's mother.
Wait.
A few choice words.
I do too. But here's the thing. I am now realizing why Sincere is who Sincere is. And that's a really sad, really, really, really sad reality to recognize that this is not when the dad came there and said, this is not the person we raised. No, 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 no. This is exactly the person you raised.
Or perhaps the person your baby mama raised. Yep, that is indeed. That is
So,
indeed who she raised.
here we go.
Your favorite film ending. Oh my gosh, 100%.
No, right here, yeah.
Just check off everything.
Anaya likes that little like a lot of shivering.
Yeah, no, I like that.
That's why I
Anaya likes a lot of chivalry, right?
said she's
I think it's her.
stay with him.
It reminds me of Shrek.
Oh my gosh, why did it have to be Shrek?
Because you know how the princess was. Fiona, you know how Fiona was in the movie.
I'm glad that I'm in
She was mad clingy, mad needy, needed all of that, and Shrek was Shrek.
All right. You hear how he describes what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about Anaya being, specifically Anaya, being like Shrek, right? Because she was needy, or Fiona, because she was needy, right?
Needy and clingy. Yep.
This is him after getting dragged rightfully across the YouTube.
Let me hear it.
This is what he comes out and says.
Yes, my final Love Island video for the season. And the internet, you guys are a bunch of idiots. So let's just dive into what I have, my final thoughts on it, because, wow. I woke up and, like, apparently we're all under fire, and honestly, I don't give a fuck. First of all, I'm the one who said the Shrek comment. And second of all, I didn't even say she looks like Shrek. I said, is this something from Shrek? Because they gave her a fairy tale book of her story with Carl. Then they gave her a nice fucking date in something that almost looks like a swamp. And now I'm going to prove it to you guys. This is what Shrek's swamp looks like, right? By the way. Anaya and Carl's date, by the way.
First of all, those two things look nothing alike. That's the first issue. The second issue is you already explained why it is and was that you said it looked like Shrek. Like you were talking about her being quote unquote clingy. You cannot now say visually, you cannot say aesthetically, the swamp looks like that of what was presented in Shrek when you said, yeah, Anaya reminds me of Fiona because of how clingy she is. That's not about aesthetic.
Right.
So all of it, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and can't we all agree that Zach and Kata's date looked the closest to a swamp?
Right. That's the first thing. The second thing is this. I actually noted this. He literally said, Carl is Carl in the thing, and then Anaya is Shrek.
So, listen.
Yeah, so this little cleanup after crashing out is absolutely disgusting. Not only is it disgusting, it is a way to cover up and hide behind, oh, I'm just making a comparative analysis around aesthetic and what the tree looked like in the storybook. And maybe that's the inspiration. Maybe that's what they were going for. I don't know. But what you were describing was a person and a personality type, not how something looked visually in terms of the setup. You were describing that woman.
One, I knew you were going to look like that. Two, I'm agreeing with everybody in the comments, which is I do not recall. It's been a while since I've seen Shrek. Fiona was the exact opposite of clingy. The whole story was Fiona was a princess and Shrek was an ogre. And so they came from two completely different worlds where she was poised, right, and was raised a certain way. Meanwhile, he was the exact opposite. And then coming together essentially led to them both having to essentially put in the effort to meet somewhere in the middle. So to compare her to Fiona, and you're saying it's not about looks, have you ever even watched Shrek? Because Fiona was the exact opposite of clingy. But what you're also going to have to explain to me is how Anaya is clingy in the same damn house, in the same damn villa where Melanie and Kata existed.
Not only Melanie and Kata, let's throw TT up in there. Because TT didn't even know that man for a day or two and was crying, crashing out when he wanted to go spend time with another woman. Sydney, I think
Anaya was clingy. Anaya would be the person that you would describe as clingy. Let's be honest. Y'all are not used to seeing an unambiguous dark-skinned Black woman be doted on the way that Carl has doted on her. Anaya has never so much as asked for one compliment. Carl just gives it to them like they're hot, gives it to her like they're hot cakes. Every time he would bring her breakfast, he was complimenting her swimsuit. Every time she would walk down the stairs, he would tell her how beautiful that she looks. Why can't that just be him as a person? Why can't it be that? Especially because we've seen Carl be chivalrous, not even to just to Anaya. He's just a man with manners. And because y'all can't relate to that, you'd rather make it about Anaya needing that versus that being how he shows love. Like that could be one of his love languages.
Right.
But y'all don't know that. You just have discomfort because he's exposing how y'all fall short. You will never be a Carl, sir. That's probably your problem. And you need a retwist. How dare you come on camera looking like that, thinking that you can sun anybody? Like, are you insane?
He's about to say, you guys can cuss me out and tell me I need a retwist because apparently he knows. I'm going to play it just for that. I'm going to play it just so that we can get to that point because I did watch this already.
Now, yes, side to side, would you even be able to tell me the difference? If I would have fucking Photoshop Anaya and Carl right there would be no difference. Literally, this is exactly what her book looked like. It was just her and Carl instead of Fiona and Shrek. What? On top of that, they coupled up 2 weeks ago. She chose KC. And then Carl comes back and they finish in second place. Yeah, I just thought that was disgusting. That's disgusting that production actually did that.
It is disgusting that production actually made them come second place when we voted for them to come second place.
Yeah, that was production.
They got the second most view.
And your relative, it wasn't disgusting for what he was doing?
Yeah, production is disgusting, but not sincere.
But not sincere and not KC, because you already know that they're Team KC as well. That's why they dislike Anaya.
They said it. Yeah. They said it during one of them live.
We see y'all. Like that's all this comes down to. Matter of fact, get rid of them dreads. You're not black. Why do you even have dreads? Like you're actually pissing me off now. Why do you even have dreads? Cut them off.
Not cut them off.
No problems with Carl. I actually rooted for Carl. Then I made another comment where I was like, yeah, Kata's sick as hell. She came in 4th place.
That is so stupid, by the way. And how dumb do you think we are? So you rooted for Carl. You have no problem with Carl, but you don't think he should be number 2. So how much were you rooting for him? And if you don't like Anaya, how you're rooting for Carl to do what exactly? With whom? By himself? Separately?
No. By anybody else, yeah. Anybody else. No, that has to be it. But that actually reminds me of another note. Dylan, you will remain on my SHIT list because for you to pretty much do everything besides pull Carl's pants down and kiss him right on the behind, you had the nerve during After Sun to say that you're rooting for Trinity and Bryce? Was Carl not your closest friend in the villa?
Right.
No, none of them. None of those rejects. Mind you, I don't watch After Sun because I don't care about rejects. And that's what the hell every single one of them are. But the fact that none of you, especially Dylan, did not mention Carl and Anaya, Corbin and Parmita, y'all raggedy asses had the nerve to root for Melanie and Sincere as if y'all weren't the ones that voted for them to leave while y'all were still in the villa. Oh, I'm on all y'all ass. I swear. Because I don't know what y'all have against Anaya, but this is getting ridiculous. This is really getting ridiculous. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, she was bitching all season about how she thought her and Zach were the most compatible. They should easily win it, all that, and they came in 4th place. Yeah, she was sick. You could literally see it on her face. I don't think there was anything wrong with that comment. Bro, and then I made a comment that Bryce and Trinity were really just in it for the money. And yeah, I'm standing on that. I'm sorry.
And again, this is why it's so weird. This is why y'all need to control y'all's family when you go on TV shows. Because Sincere's brand was already in hell, right? Like it was already in there. But to then have your family stomp it further down because they have no emotional regulation, and instead of privately talking, they decided to go live and for the world to see further diminish the very toxic brand he already had. Now, it is insane to me that you are sitting up there talking about who is in it for the money while your brother is literally on there with a woman he obviously hates to win money. If like I believe Melanie likes Sincere. That's where that sentence ends. That is where the sentence ends.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Either Sincere meant what he said to all 3 of those women, or he did not mean a word of what he said to any of them.
Right.
I don't know which one is worse. I know that they're both bad. And if y'all are not going to hold your relative accountable, shut your ass up. Don't
Right.
speak on anybody, because this is getting irritating. People could feel however they feel about Brinity. What you can't say is that they didn't play the game. Casey didn't make the top 4 because he chose to get hot in the pants instead of staying on game. He could have easily made it to the bottom 4 if he didn't do what he did. Perhaps he wasn't smart enough. Perhaps he didn't care about the money anymore and just wanted to have a good time. It was his choice to make. All I'm saying is y'all need to keep the same energy. If we're going to imply that Carl and Anaya and Trinity and Bryce were just there for the money, everybody was, not just them.
But everyone was there for the money. And now that you've said that, we don't have to watch any more of this fool, and we can continue our conversation. So it is with this sense that we have to go now to a more, before we wrap up the sincere part of the conversation, let me just say this. Sincere is someone we do not know. What we go by is what Sincere has shown to the public on a very heavily edited TV show. And from that, we have determined that Sincere is literally the worst man to ever been on Love Island. Barring, there is no kind of debate going on online about whether or not the top spot in terms of degeneracy should or should not go to Sincere. Your family can be as mad as they want. Just know that at the top of the top for degeneracy is Sincere. That's it.
That is it. That is all.
So y'all can be mad. Go ahead.
No, all I was going to add to that was all of the people, all of the KC defenders saying, what about Sincere? What about Sincere? Don't worry. The time is now. The time that we were talking about where all eyes were going to be on Sincere, they're now. Yeah. It's now. And he can thank his family for that. He can thank his family.
Yeah, not only can he thank his family, he can also thank himself. The notion that people are harder on Casey than they are on Sincere has to only be a fact of the house. That has to be a fact of the villa, of the people on the show. Because it is weird for Casey's followers to be this publicly talking to other people who support Anaya and anyone else as if there is not a collective understanding and appreciation that Sincere is the worst of the worst. That has never been debated. Mm-hmm. And someone said this on TikTok. We only were waiting for the people in the villa to get caught up on the fact that Sincere is a demon. That is the only thing we were waiting on. Everyone in the real world watching has determined that Sincere is the worst of the worst. We have brands telling Melanie to leave and they will give her free things.
Yep.
To pretend that the collective in watching Love Island is not opposed to Sincere is actually kind of insane.
You know what it is? And that's why I'm sorry I question these people's intelligence, or if not their intelligence, their intentions, right? That's probably the better word, because they wanted all eyes to be on Sincere when nobody's disagreeing about how bad Sincere is. The reason why the conversation at times surrounded KC is because we had a bunch of y'all pretending as if y'all didn't understand what he did wrong. Yes. Nobody was doing that for Sincere. Therefore, there was no back and forth.
Right. Now, we get specifically to how many, the idea, the notion that Love Island is racist or colorist. So how many Black men has been, it depends on how you categorize Black, right? And what it means to be Black. But Caleb from season 2, Corey from season 3, Timmy from season 4. I don't know if Timmy considered himself Black, but Timmy from season 4 and Cordell from season 6.
That's a lot of Black men.
That's 4. And there are 8 seasons. That's like 50%.
Mm-hmm. And hold on now. Wait, Themis, you're forgetting one Black person.
Who?
Brian, because if the Black community wants to claim Soul, certainly you can claim Brian from season 7. So that's 5. It's 5 black men, actually. Don't forget him.
And if you define blackness in the way that it requires you to physically present as black, let's say 2 of them, right? That would put it at over 13%, which is the percentage of the population. So one of the things we cannot do mathematically is look at the outcome in terms of who has won the show to indicate that the show is racist towards specifically black men. Everyone has noted, weirdly, that the key to winning the show is to find a dark skinned woman. This makes absolutely no sense where there is only 3 dark skinned women who have won, which would put the percentage at like 37%. So, no, that is not the formula. Last season, we had Amaya win. The first season, we had this white lady won. It is not true that you just need to latch on to a black, dark skinned woman to win the show. That's not the case. Statistically, that is not the case. That is not what is happening.
And hold on, I'm sorry. Okay, let me actually just say this very quickly because I was reading the comments. Guys, thanks for the correction. Again, I did not watch After Sun, so if I'm mistaken about who they're rooting for, I can completely take responsibility for that and say maybe I misremembered the clip that I saw, or maybe the clip was taken out of context. So fine. I won't talk about After Sun because I did not see it in full. But to respond what you said, I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to make that clarification.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So the notion that you need to get to a black woman and win is actually it's blatantly false, right?
Right.
And so now what is happening is we cannot look to the statistic of winners' outcomes in terms of all 8 seasons to figure out if we just disregard one black man, because that's not true, and or that you just need a black dark-skinned woman to win. That's also not true. So how about we look substantively at the experience of black men on the show? And since the conversation started at season 8, right? Since this is where straight black men decided to jump in and have a conversation about racism and colorism, and some black women are talking about racism and colorism, I do think it is worth taking a look at Casey and substantively, like his experience in the show, and break down for people and ourselves, maybe we get to a different conclusion about whether or not Casey in particular and Black Men season 8 has experienced colorism and racism. A bunch of men came in at Casa also. So we are looking at Casey as an individual and then the men who came in during the Casa Amor debacle, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those have to be the things we're looking at because there's no other way to look at it, right? Before I continue, did I say anything that triggers a thought for you before we continue? Because this is actually kind of annoying me.
No, I was just gonna. I remember my question now. I was just gonna ask a simple question. Where were y'all last year when they were putting Olandria's face on George Floyd's body? Where were y'all?
Where were everyone? Where were all the men? Because the women, I think, would.
Yeah. I'm talking specifically to the men, right? Yeah. No, let me make that clear because a lot of the people, a lot of the Black women, I'm sure were talking about it and are keeping the same energy for the most part. Where were you men when they did that to Olandria? Or did you not care because she was partnered with Nick, as if she did not remain loyal to a Black man that chose another Black woman on the show, similar to what KC did? We see what y'all are doing. All this is all happening again. And I think that's part of the reason why I went up for Karnaya that way, because it's not about the race of the man. It's about how we saw them go from being dogged out to being uplifted by the next one. That is what I care about. They looked happy. They were being treated well for everybody to see. That was why everybody fell for that love story. It's not because the new man was non-Black.
Right. All right. And so I wanted to touch something there too.
Mm-hmm.
Reality show, like movies, have narratives and certain kinds of formula. And one of the things on reality show is that you need, and game show is that, particularly where people are voting, you need to tell a story. Even American Idol had a story of the downtrodden person, and they tell you and they try to sell you who they are for you to connect with them, sympathize with them, like them, and vote for them. Plus, they also sing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so all of these TV show, they have their narrative. They create certain kinds of narrative. Individuals on the TV show create their narrative, and for these narratives are for you to cling to. Casey had what I think might have been one of the best narrative for a kind of redemption arc that he missed. And Carl took what he dropped and ran with it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about this at some other time, particularly in my video, but just realize for the people who are degenerate enough to not want to acknowledge this, that the way Carl dealt with rejection is drastically different, more mature, and in fact better than the
Mm-hmm.
way that Casey dealt with rejection that boiled up into something that was ugly and
Mm-hmm.
distasteful.
Because there was an understanding there. There was also because again, to expect somebody, do you know how highly do you have to think about yourself to the point of arrogance where you would think that you should be chosen over somebody that the person has been developing a connection with for 3 weeks and you've only been there for 2 days? You know who else had that sense of entitlement? The black one that squatted Anaya and assumed that he would be chosen.
Right.
Corey, who all he did was make Melanie like a little picnic, a bum ass picnic, and he thought that he would be chosen over Sincere. That sense of entitlement, I don't know where y'all get that, but actually, excuse me, I know where y'all get that. I know where y'all get that. Y'all get that from the black women who are so race loyal to you that they're willing to put up with crumbs in order to keep you.
Right.
And you think that every woman you come across is going to be on that same type of time. Honestly, I just love the existence of Anaya this season because she just put an end to all of that without even realizing it. And that's why y'all really hate her. That is why.
I think that there is some resentment about Anaya's class too. Oh, we'll get to that because TT in After Sun decided to remove Anaya's blackness. And I think the only way you get to removing Anaya's blackness in the way that TT attempted to do it was because of Anaya's social and economic class. And that's the problem. When you try to flatten blackness in the way that TT and Casey attempted to do in After Sun, yeah, we have a problem. We do. We do. The old bluff black people of the world do in fact exist. And when TT is saying, oh, we are getting hate because we are a black couple and I have braids and whatever else TT talking about, yeah, Anaya and Casey was also a black couple. And when we have content creators sitting around talking about cannibalizing Casey and completely ignoring how TT and Casey attempted to cannibalize Anaya is absolutely insane. When you remove someone's blackness and humanity in the way that Casey and TT attempted to do so by pointing out how they were a black couple and that's why people don't like them, as if Casey and Anaya wasn't beloved, is insane.
Literally.
That is absolutely diabolical and insane.
Simply because they were black, because we all had our reasons as to why we weren't buying it fully. But I said it live and I'm standing by it now. They were one of, if not my top couple when they were together because they were black and because I didn't see anything that sent off like warning signs. You know what I mean? I liked Anaya as a person and I liked KC as a person. So in my mind, it made perfect sense. Right. And so it really was just that simple.
Right. I mean, even though I didn't believe the whole teppery, they were really high up too for me as a couple.
Yeah. I was giving him the side eye for that reason. But I said, until I see something that's truly not to my liking, Anaya and Casey are going to be my top couple. That's what it was.
Right. So first, let me Iron Man the whole racist argument quickly. Um, One of the best plays, and also a really bad place to look in terms of any kind of engagement with racism towards Black men on the show, might literally be the Casa Amor debacle.
Mhm.
The problem with this is when you have a bunch of men and the women get to pick, we weren't there. We
Mhm.
don't know why the women chose the way they chose. And because all the dark skinned men got kicked off the island in that fatal swoop, like, um, I can see how you are uncomfortable with that.
Mhm.
Without more information about why, I am unwilling to affirm you in your argument that this is in fact racism and or colorism. The
Mhm.
one part of this that I don't object to is the fact that Gal got selected and none of the dark skin or black men did. I think that's actually kind of insane. So I will give it to you there, and I am not
No, I
going to.
don't. Mm-mm. I don't give it to them. No, I don't give it to them either. Who chose Gaul? Was that one of us? Like, come
Okay,
on now.
but
I understand, but no, we're not talking about Gaul, nor are we talking about Dylan, because they were both chosen by white women. If we're gonna talk about us, let's stay on us. And let's talk about this too, right? I remember this was a conversation that you and I had publicly where I talked about Sean mentioning that he was pursuing Anaya or something to that degree. And you made a very valid point, which is we saw nothing of it, and therefore we have to not have to believe, but we're inclined to believe that production didn't see enough there in order to include that in the footage. And I took that point and I accepted that point. Let's apply that point here. What we saw was Carl and Anaya um not having, like, basically connecting over both playing volleyball. We saw that moment. I don't remember the other moments because, like I said, Anaya is my girl. She's my number one, right?
yeah.
So we saw what led up to all of the girls making their choices. We did not see the Keon, I think his name was, really engaging with the girls, engaging in conversation. All we saw was him being sexual. Anaya has proven that she is not an overtly sexual person. She's her behavior has suggested that you have to stimulate her intellectually or emotionally first. That's why she did not pick him. I know y'all remember me saying if that were me, I'm picking him, but
Mhm.
me and Anaya are two different people.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So could it be that they just didn't make much of an impression? Could it be that as black men, they just expected to be picked by the black woman the same way KC did early on? Like,
Yeah.
what are we
Because
what are
now,
we talking about here?
right. So, for you have my permission, all of the people out there wanting to make racist videos using Casa Amor, and you now have to contend with what DJ just said. I just want to make this one note. Please don't shorthand racism and colorism. Show your work.
Mhm.
The problem with quote unquote showing your work as it relates to your analysis is that being rejected does not itself implies racism or colorism. So you do have a heavy burden, as DJ just pointed out. And a white woman picking a white man feels consistent to me. But if that's racism, you go down in them comments and type out that essay and that thesis and dissertation, and I will read it.
No. And you know what? Yes, I will read it. And then I'm gonna have to redirect your attention to the stats that indicate that black men have higher interracial dating and marriage rates than black women. So you're gonna have to explain to me why now all of a sudden this is a problem, as if we haven't already as a community been dealing with this.
Right, right. So now we are left with Casey, right?
Mm.
Casey is where the bulk of the argument is. All the video essays that came out, all the men now engaging in colorism conversation, racism conversation, has Casey as the person to defend against colorism and racism. I do not believe we have enough evidence to conclude that Casey, during his time in the villa, suffered from colorism and or racism. That is not a thing, right? And this does include the fact that there are some people live talking about how this is important for me. Casey was cannibalized and buck broken.
Oh my God.
No.
Did somebody put a gun to his head to get up on this show? Because
No, no, no.
this is what irritates me too. Guys, we live in America. We live in America. If you're not aware of the obstacles that tend to be in place for people of color just by existing, then I really don't even want to engage in conversation with you for real, because y'all clutch y'all pearls only when you see fit, only when it suits you, and I don't appreciate that. If Casey should have known, this isn't a thing, by the way, but even if it was, Casey should have known that this comes with the territory, and if that was really a problem, he should have stayed his ass in Fresno. There, I said it. I don't know what you expect.
There are people calling this a lynching on one hand.
Great.
And yeah, there are saying this is butt broken. He's being butt broken. Now, butt breaking was a system that was at play to abuse Black men. They would take the strongest of the group, usually in view of others, to keep everyone in line through very specific kind of humiliation. And this was separate and apart from any action by the individual Black man, slave at the time, being butt broken. The Black man did not have to do anything wrong to be humiliated in a very specifically sexually depraved public ritual. Butt breaking for me, is one of the most evil historic action by white men against Black men. And the idea triggers me specifically. I have tried to ignore it multiple times when it was being said, but it is triggering. Using the idea of being butt broken in the context that it is being used now with Casey is not only wrong and diabolical, it is a kind of, again, flattening of the horrors of slaves and what slaves had to go through to make a point that actually does not require the weight of that specific historical experience of Black men. That flattening to me is absolutely degenerate. And everyone doing it, I do have a problem with.
And you know something else too, what that also highlights is I know I'm gonna get the men in a tizzy with this comment. It also highlights just how easy y'all have had it. If you're able to equate something like not being the number one pick in a villa on a national television show to being buck broken, then what you're telling me in this moment, you're saying everything that you don't want to say and admit to when it comes to your dynamic with Black women up until this point. Like everything has been laid out for you on a silver platter. And that's why this is so hard for you to stomach. That is why this is so hard for you to deal with. Welcome to reality for the typical unambiguous Black woman in this country. Y'all literally would not be able to survive if y'all had to go through what we went through.
Calling this butt breaking is actually kind of insane.
Like, are you okay? Are you okay?
No.
Like, how?
Now, here's the thing. This is one of the defining moments on the show, right? I'm gonna play this right here. This moment right here is one of the defining moments on the show. Also, I don't know why he was surprised as if he couldn't do mathematics. At the point where no.
Maybe he thought a bombshell would be back there. Maybe he thought Ariana would be back there, girl.
No.
Wait, no, this is actually hard to watch. I can't even lie. This is hard to watch.
It was hard to watch, but no. Who you thought was back there? Why are you surprised? Why are you
Hopes
pretending
and
to be
prayers.
who was going to be back there? Each of the men had one woman, singular, in front of them, except Sincere, who had two. There was one woman for every man there. Did you think Casper the Friendly Ghost was behind your door as a bombshell?
Child, I don't.
Because I remember Ariana said, I mean, we know nobody back there, but go ahead and open your door. Why are you
Just
surprised?
because, just for funsies.
No. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out why you're surprised. Girl. Ain't nobody gonna be back there. Who you thought back there? You thought
Child.
Ariana was going to teleport back there for you?
Girl, I'll be like, Ariana, I'm not gonna open up this door.
Right, girl.
It's gonna have to
Ariana, you
stay
gonna open up
closed.
your door yourself. Actually, I'm gonna swim back to America. I'm gonna go ahead and swim back to
Ariana,
America.
this door gonna remain closed. You ain't gonna embarrass me like this. You're not gonna do that.
I refuse. I object, Your Honor. Sorry.
Actually, sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
No, I was just gonna like make another point along the same lines of what we were talking about, which is like just how good they have it. KC took this moment and allowed himself to turn into a villain, but did not expect to lose the audience because of this rejection right here, right? So he figured that this was significant enough to justify the behavior that he engaged in once he reached the casa, and he was actually surprised he did not make it into the top 4.
Right.
That's very telling. It is very telling.
No, his face. I actually felt really.
It was hard to watch.
Yeah. Watching anyone open their door to no one being behind it, I think it's heart-wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
I think having a negative emotional response to this moment when you watched it live is not a bad thing. I don't think it's wrong. I think it means you have compassion, even for the men watching. I think this means this moment pulling on your heartstring means that you have compassion. However, concluding that this is racism without any facts is without merit. Concluding this is colorism without doing the work and showing how you get to colorism here is also without merit. First things first, I'm the realist. Okay. First, Casey showed up, and let me give you a couple of reasons why Casey actually ran completely last for the first episode. As a potential match in the house, Casey actually did, in fact, based on my theories, rank even below Bryce. Initially.
Yep.
Initially. Y'all ready for it? Here's why. This is why. You see that brooch he has on? You see how big his suit is to the point where his button down, the white button down, is not showing at his wrist. And you cannot see this, but he has loafers on with no sock, which is not itself a problem, not wearing socks in a suit. If you're going to do that, you're going to have to wear the HELL out of the suit. The suit has to be tailored to the gods because you're presenting a very specific kind of fashion choice that you are making to wear no socks. Your suit needs to be tailored. Right? So let me go through some of what happened because I had forgotten that I took very specific kind of notes watching the first season of the men and the women coming in and their clothing. But I had special interest in the way the men were showing up after seeing the women, right? So the women were gathered around the fire pit or whatever, and they were watching the men arrive, right? Sincere came in like this chill, bluish, casual.
Sincere look good.
Yeah. Formal jacket with like black pants. So it was bluish off color with black pants and a regular t-shirt under his jacket. Fresh cut, very much Miami party boy. That's the
Mhm.
aesthetic Cynthia showed up in. Bryce was wearing a suit that was like it was either brown or maroon-ish, right? It looked cheap.
Oh my
It is.
God.
No, no, no.
Was that necessary? Was that actually necessary?
No, no, no.
You
I
you
mean, it
tell
wasn't
me.
necessary. It wasn't necessary, but it didn't look cheap. And it was ill-fitted, but it was baggy in a very specific. It felt like it was supposed to be baggy. The shirt hang loose, the jacket hang loose, the pants hang loose. It felt like it was supposed to be. I know he's like 30, like 48, but he did look like a Gen Z, and it felt intentionally baggy. Like he was giving Gen Z baggy, the new Gen Z, right? It didn't look bad. He actually did look like a model when he walked in with the oversized clothing. It felt intentional. Zach came in a green suit that was very well fitted, but also he was wearing a t-shirt, right? The green
Mhm.
color, the bright green, everything about it said casual except the suit. And the suit wasn't actually what was being presented, it was his body, right? His cut, his frame, everything was fine. Actually, between Zach, Sean, and Sincere, those three men looked dressed the best when they came in. Casey saying he can be an F boy, by the way, in the opening that I completely had forgotten, or he can be a lover boy, but he can be both an F boy and a lover boy. And we saw the F boy at Casa, but we'll get back to that. I just needed
Mm.
to point out that he did, in fact, say that in his confessional. The first time we saw him, he said that he could be an F boy or a lover boy, and we saw both. But we'll get back to that. Casey came in and showed off his loafers, no socks, and a pink suit. The no sock and the color of the suit says that he should not be taken seriously, right? The
Mhm.
white button-down shirt and the brooch says that he was going to somebody's church, right? And like for Easter Sunday service. Not only do you have a brooch on, your white button-down is not showing at your wrist. The fact that you're gonna wear no sock and then get a suit that is ill-fitted and then your white shirt is not showing at your wrist means it's a chop. Right now, Sean showed up in a white jacket and his t-shirt and black pants also. Casey was the only one leaning more formal than
Mhm.
anyone else. With his button down and his loafers, the bright suit made him stand out more than any of the other guys. Like
Mhm.
Casey was standing out. Casey's fashion choice indicated that he wanted to be seen. He was that guy. He is
Mhm.
tall. He is good looking. He is fit without being bulky. He
Mhm.
literally can wear whatever he wants. That like his frame allows him to be that guy. The problem
Mhm.
is he's goofy.
Mhm.
He cannot pull this off. And I don't care what y'all say, this requires a kind of confidence that Casey does not have. What Casey is wearing, take the brooch off, fit the jacket better, and he would look good. He literally now need to sell it. He could not.
He couldn't.
Casey is a goofy guy. So imagine a goofy guy in an oversized jacket with a brooch walking in among all the other men. He ranks the absolute lowest. It is
Yeah.
what it is. Feel how you want to feel. This is useless. What he should have been done is wore black. That's all of this ends if he changed the pink color to black and remove that brooch. Ain't nobody telling him to wear
Girl,
that brooch.
look, if he came in all black, I feel like he would have been the hot commodity of the night, man. I feel like he would have been the number one pick. This
But
this wasn't a good choice, but all black, he would have ate down.
mind you, specifically when he was walking up, Sean was beside him. Ariana said, what Ariana said something. Ariana said, I am loving the fits. That's what Ariana said. Right?
Mhm.
This is not an acknowledgement of how good the clothing look. And it is not aimed at Sean. This was to point out that she noticed Casey. Casey wore
Mhm.
that pink suit to be noticed, and he was noticed. He
Yep.
was the absolute loudest in terms of his outfit. And it is also, again, ill-fitted with a brooch, you actually now have to sell this. You have
Yep.
to be that guy. You are now called out. You have to be that guy.
The
And
confidence has to be immaculate.
right. And not everyone can articulate what is happening at first glance, right? The ill fit, the brooch, the no socks. You just know something is off, but anyone with confidence and eloquence can sell this look. Casey has neither two things. Casey failed the hardest in terms of initial impression. Then they went to the game. And I think y'all forget that when Anaya kissed Casey for the first time, Anaya literally gave soul. You remember when Soul kissed Sean and said, I taste
Oh no,
hormones.
that was Gabe. That was Gabe.
Gabe, sorry, Sean, not Sean,
Mhm.
Gabe, thank you. When Soul kissed Gabe and was like, oh, absolutely not, right?
Nope.
Please go back to episode 1 and look at the game and tell me about Anaya's faith. Anaya was literally pushing herself away from Casey when they kissed.
Whew, I don't remember that, child.
Oh, no, go back. Please, I don't have the clip. Please go back. I have my notes. I forgot how detailed my notes were when I was watching because we come up here after every episode and we just like kick it. I don't actually use my notes. But if you go back, I said, oh my God, that black girl don't like that black guy.
No,
That's
and
what I put in my notes.
people
And
are saying it in the comments that they remember being so grossed out by it. What? How
Yes.
did that pass me?
Yeah, no. She literally was like, oh my God. I don't know if I can find the clip, and I'm not going to attempt to find the clip, but it did actually happen. It did.
Was it during the door thing? Sorry to
Yes,
cut
it
you.
was doing the door challenge. So I think it was a specific challenge. Let me, if I pull up my notes. Let me.
No, you can keep going. I'm gonna see if I could find it.
Yeah, it was a challenge. The question that was asked was about the favorite position. Yes, the Ariana asked what their favorite position was, and Casey and Anaya had chosen the same position, and they were supposed to kiss. When you match with someone based on this, you kiss. He comes out, she comes out, they kiss, and she was literally pushing him off of her. She was pushing him away. Yeah. It was missionary. They both said missionary.
Okay, wait, did I just find it?
Wait. Yes.
Let me, I want to make sure that it's the right
Yeah.
question. Their first kiss. Yeah, hold on.
Drop it in the private chat.
Oh, she hated it.
Yeah, drop it in the private chat. Let me show you.
Sorry, it's on Peacock, but I'm gonna see if I can find it on TikTok. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Oh no, yeah, I couldn't find it when I looked. But if you have Peacock and you can show it on here, let me know. But if you can, it's fine. We don't.
Oh, she was into Sincere. Oh God.
No. Not only was she into Sincere, Sincere in his confessional said Anaya is a really good kisser. He enjoyed that and he gave it, I think it was an 8 out of 10.
Yep.
Right? So if Sincere is enjoying the kiss and Anaya is also enjoying the kiss, I actually see why Anaya might have thought there was something there.
You know what? Because I don't remember where I heard it. I think they said Melanie might have said it. I'm not sure. You guys will correct me if I'm wrong. But apparently Melanie confirmed that Casey would be the guy that she would typically go for.
Yeah, yes. So Casey and Melanie kissed at the same door, I think. The same time. And Casey Casey was kissing her very aggressively. I won't say she looked like she wanted to pull away in the way that I'm saying Anaya wanted to pull away, but she did seem a bit uncomfortable. And then in her confessional, she said, Casey is her typical type, but she always end up single or left when she goes with the Casey type guys. At the time, I noted this because I thought she was going to pick him anyway. And then she didn't. And I didn't know, but I didn't know that it was foreshadowing to what would have been happening with Anaya.
Child. But I only brought it up because I do wonder how things would have played out had Melanie gone to KC's door and Anaya remained at Sincere's. Like would because we know Casey and Anaya wouldn't have gone for each other. I feel like we could all agree there. Would Melanie and Sincere have still made their way to each other if Melanie went straight for KC? I wonder.
Well, you know, these men in the villa do not like work. They do not like to have
Mhm.
to put effort in. So I would go ahead and say absolutely not. Um, and then another part that we need to discuss is this. This face came about. I'm gonna tell you when this face came about. This face came about when Ariana asked them to tell what kind of people they were. Were they a dog person, a cat person, or a plant person? Right?
Mhm.
He said he was a plant person and stood behind plant, and he was the only one standing there. Right?
Yep.
He said in his confessional, I picked the plant door. I think I'm being edgy and ish. Women love plants. No, bro, that was not a good decision.
Mhm.
So he chose the plant because he thought women love plants and would be behind the plant door. And also, he was trying to quote unquote be edgy, which tells you he already is not being truthful about who he is. He's just doing what he thought women would be doing, which brings
Mhm.
you to another part of this. And it is that Casey does not know how to play the Love Island game. Because if you think you are going to pick something that is going to have women behind it, and you don't think it's cat or dog, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sure there are women who love plants, and there might be a woman behind the plant door, but I'm sure there would be one behind the dog or the cat.
I mean, listen, and all of that is just a testament to the fact that all KC had to do was be honest and himself, and things would have panned out much better for him in the end, even if he
Right,
didn't end up with Anaya.
right.
Yep.
Just be yourself. Casey was not being honest, even though he later actually reframed all of this and said he picked the thing that he wanted to because he was trying to be true to himself. This right here is the quote I snapped of the episode where he looked behind the door, there was nobody there, and he's talking in the confessional, and he said, "No, bro, like that was not a good decision. It would not matter if it was a good or bad decision if in fact it was your truth that you are a planned person. Casey not no planned person. And even if he was, he didn't pick the door that says plant because he was a planned person. He picked it because it was a strategy for him, a bad strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I feel bad for him. Watching him, I felt bad. Mind you, Sincere also picked a door that no one was behind. Sincere said you should always be able to look in your partner's phone. I think that's the door Sincere went behind at this juncture. No one was there, and Sincere laughed and played it off. Literally had fun. Casey had a whole attitude.
Immediately. And it's just like, I listen, like I said, it was very hard to watch. I was getting upset myself because I felt like they kind of had the camera on him for a little longer than they should have. So I get that this is a very uncomfortable moment, but again, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to mentally preparing for this type of thing. That you seemingly came into this completely unprepared for anything that wouldn't go according to plan. And I don't understand that.
Right.
Like I don't get it, because the one thing that I would practice are my answers if I don't get the person that I want, because I'm not expecting to get every single person that I want. Like
Right.
it just doesn't make sense to me. Casey, you were so grossly unprepared for this experience. That is why you crashed out the way that you did.
And also entitled. There are other
Yes.
possibilities. His breath could have stunk. He could have been a
Mhm.
terrible kisser. Could have spoken, and people said they didn't like the way that he spoke. He could have smelt bad. You know what I mean? We don't know. These are just possibilities. For the people who are going to make the essays about how racism, colorism is what Casey had to be faced with, you and I are going to have to contend with those also like you don't just get to say racism and colorism without showing your work. Casey ranked at the bottom for the first episode for a myriad of reasons. You can say they're not justifiable, but I can put him at the bottom for a lot of the things that he did in the first episode, the initial meeting before anyone knew who he was.
A content creator went back and watched this episode and counted up as far as we could see, right? Because we don't know if we saw all the different challenges. All we could do is hope that we did. Casey was the only person to only match with the girls one time. Every other man matched with the girls at least twice. I just, if he was honest, it would have gone differently. I wholeheartedly believe that. Please stop trying to make it about everything else besides his own decisions.
Right. Now, Casey getting paired with Anaya, they did not choose each other. And I don't think he understands how this could have been the winning formula. Like, so people are like, oh, racism, colorism. No. I began with the notion that Casey was actually being set up to win. With Casey and Anaya, they were solidly, not tangentially, they were solidly in the top 4. They were, though, after this moment where Casey had no one and Anaya was directly rejected by Sincere. Mind you, Anaya was directly rejected by Sincere and went on to be one of Sincere, for better or worse, became one of Sincere's biggest supporters. Anaya was rejected by Sincere and was so kind and so sweet and even forgiven of Sincere. Now, I think she still likes Sincere, but that's neither here nor there. And she was there for Sincere. Like, she was there. She was a friend to Sincere. Good or bad friend, not up to y'all. But she was there. She did not build the kind of resentment that Casey built because of his rejection. Mind you, Anaya's rejection was more direct. It was, both of you told me you want me, and I'm telling you it's not you, I'm choosing her.
Right.
You never had to go through that. At no point did you, Carl's rejection was worse than yours. Now, to be fair, Carl should understand that Anaya and you had a longer history. And so a fresh cut could be deeper, but the longer lasting one, I mean, she was trying to stay truthful to that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
not only that, but Carl was there for 2-3 days. KC, this was night 1. If anything, Carl had more of a reason to be upset than even you.
Right.
That's so insane.
No, this is the thing. Like, people are saying he's justified in his hurt, and he is. You're not, however, your hurt does not justify the behavior that comes from it in the way that Casey acted out.
You said y'all never, sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
You said y'all never had a connection. You said when you came back that you don't give an F about her and about her new connection. You said you called her a grandma. You said all of these nasty things. You went to Casa Amor and talked about how the Casa girls are treating you like again. I mean, we sound like a broken record at this point, right? But it was a sense of entitlement. You did all of that out of anger.
They did not know your powers.
So you Superman now, Casey? Like, what are you even talking about? Like, this is the corny shit this is the corny stuff we talk about, bro. Like, you're not making it easier for yourself being so damn corny and cringy.
Right. So on one hand, we can accept that it must be hurtful for him to have experienced the villa the way that he did initially, right? But to look at his experience after that initial rejection, right, where Anaya continues to choose him even over other men who, as he said, they wanted to date her. It is insane to me to not acknowledge that he was also by America voted into the top 4. So before you went to CASA, you understood not only your position as it relates to the other men, but your position as it relates to the viewer and who they liked, right? As a couple. We don't know individually who they liked at the time because I think you thought it might have been you instead of Anaya, right? But regardless of why, you guys were good. And this is a game show. At the end of the day, there's 100K on the line, and none of these relationships, including you and TT, are real. I don't care what nobody says.
None of
I
it. None of it.
refuse, right? And so you decided that your ego was more important to you when you went to CASA, but we're not even at CASA yet. We're at Soul. So the first bombshell that you've shown interest in is here. And it is interesting now to talk about how you wanted to explore Soul and Anaya's crying prevented you from exploring Soul and Anaya's fragile. I'm going to need you to stop because my notes indicated that you have said on multiple occasions that you did not want to explore Soul. And one of the reasons you did not want to explore Soul is precisely because you did not want to get into the way of Sincere and Soul. That was your decision. The only point at which you made it very clear to the other boys that you wanted to explore Soul was at elimination, and they sent her away immediately. You should be mad at the boys, not Anaya.
Yep. Because you didn't look. There were 3 main reasons, in my opinion, that Casey didn't completely commit to Soul. Because he didn't want to upset Anaya. And by Anaya, I really mean America, because he understood the position he was in. He didn't want to be in competition with Sincere. And he did not want to actually put in the work to pursue Soul. Because why are we hearing all of these different stories? Soul confirmed that they spoke a few times, but yet Soul wasn't pulling anybody, right? She was being pulled. That was her whole thing. That she, even though she was a bombshell, she wasn't really bombshelling, right? She was just kind of there to see whoever would give her the time of day. I'm not wronging her too much. I just feel like that's part of the reason why she left. But I get it, right? It is what it is. Casey did not want to actually pursue her, nor did he want to be in competition with Sincere, nor did he want to jeopardize his position as a top 4 couple. He chose to not take responsibility at all and made it about Anaya, who, again, we only saw cry over this situation once, and that was after the I feel blessed comment.
Right.
That is it.
And then he went to CASA, acted up, came back, and the girls were mad at him. Now, there is this notion that the girls called Casey the B word and did not call any other man the B word. And this is colorism and racism. I don't know who they're talking about because if you're talking about Trinity, we call everyone the B word. That's the first thing. And Trinity specifically calls Sincere the B word we've learned. Now, this was not shown, but I do have something to show y'all. So if you didn't know that Trinity ain't scared of none of them people, well, now you do. Trinity did not just call Casey the B word. Trinity also, when she got upset on movie night, called Sincere the B word. And let me play that for you where they all confirm this.
Here with the Trinity, you haven't explored.
Got Sincere. Trinity, you haven't explored. Trinity, you haven't explored.
You haven't even explored. Trinity's like, I don't need 3 days to explore. Here with
not only that.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add that Kato also called Zach a bitch while his clip with Alana was playing. And he was like, oh, I'm a cat dad. And she said, bitch, that's your family's cat. That's how they talk. Y'all just only wanted to hone in on them calling KC a bitch because y'all were already looking for something to latch on to.
They
Point
were
blank period.
arguing, and what's his name? Caleb, not Caleb. The actor
Dylan.
Dylan came out with Kenzie and confirmed that this apparently this was not aired, but there was a conversation happening during movie night where the girls and guys were yelling at each other. We saw most of that, but a lot of it was cut out, right? And in this conversation, it was confirmed that Sincere was talking to Trinity, telling Trinity, "You have not explored, you have not explored." And Trinity said, "I don't have to explore. I like B word. I like what I like." Right? Ada called Zach the B word multiple times. I never know that because like to me, it's like how they talk, like generally,
yeah.
right? So when I'm hearing people saying this is racism and colorism because the way they talk to Casey, they talk to no one else like that.
And am I just like misremembering? Like, please let me know. Did the girls ever call KC a bitch to his face? KC, you are a bitch. Did that happen and I'm just forgetting about it? Or because I know they referred to him as that in conversation with each other. When Anaya was under the covers crying and Melanie went to go check on her and Kada had to stop herself from saying the N-word while she was talking to Trinity, she did call Casey a bitch ass boy. I think Trinity jumped in like, oh boy, because they didn't want to say the N-word. I'm not saying that that's necessarily okay, but again, this is how they talk. So it's not out of the ordinary. Did they ever call him the B word to his face is my question.
I don't remember him being called the B word to his face, but even if he were, Trinity calls him a B word to his face.
To his face, right.
So the idea that the only reason since Casey is getting called a B word is because he's dark skinned is wild when these girls literally be up there calling everyone the B word. Now, I'm not saying this is right, but you can't just selectively remember one thing and then completely ignore how they talk generally. And even if you did, now you have evidence that he's not the only one being called the B word.
Right. He's not. And somebody mentioned Soul as well. Is anybody? Obviously, I'm not talking about the people in the villa. I'm talking about the people watching. What did y'all have to say about Soul calling him a PUSSY? Are we going to talk about that as well?
Mind you, that pissed me off. I dragged Soul for a day. Like, don't call that man no PUSSY because he refused to go after you. Please.
Right. No, I was bothered. I was deeply bothered by that. Were y'all? Or did it not make the cut because she was too light? Because that's what it's giving.
Dragging Soul a bit. Why do you think someone is not good and you can call them out of their name because they did not come and chase you?
Mind you,
that's
you
wild.
came as a bombshell.
Huh?
No, mind you, I'm just agreeing with what you're saying. You were the bombshell, so that was literally your damn job. Right. Literally, that's why you were here. And that's why you got the boot.
Right, go bomb and shell. Like you up there like, oh, if he wanted to, Anaya kept interrupt. You need to go bomb and shell, girl, please. So the weird way and the ease with which we dragging Anaya for being emotional when all them girls emotional, right? TT literally had nearly fell out when she found out that Casey wanted to go talk to Sydney. Mind you, he had only known this man for at most 3 days.
No, that was day 2.
Oh, well, 2 days.
Not even. They got there when the sun was already down. The lap dances happened. He pounced on her in that little separate area that night. They slept together that night. And then he went to her the following afternoon or evening to say he was sleeping with Sydney. We're not even talking about 24 hours.
Not even really a day.
Barely 24 hours. Yes. Barely.
Yeah. So I think what people don't want to reckon with is the fact that Casey does not want to work. That Casey wanted a woman who wants him and who is going to actively chase him, or at least make him be the prize, right? And there is this kind of requirement for Anaya, even if Anaya is like low self-esteem, as everyone want to say, even if that is true, she had requirements, and Casey ain't like them requirements. And it's on him to not like them requirements. But let's not play this game where we sit up here and pretend that Casey and Anaya was not set up to potentially win the entire thing.
Child.
Casey and Anaya could have won the entire thing. Casey made a believer out of a lot of people. Casey sat up there and made a believer out of people while being a hotep, telling Anaya about how beautiful her dark skin was in Africa from the sun and mango juice. Like, he was hotep out. And so I don't understand how you can go from that, right? And people loving them as a couple, him acting poorly, right? Coming back and getting dragged. And now you are saying, oh, racism. Pause. Absolutely not. He's being cannibalized by the villa at this point because it cannot be the public, because the public still voted for him to stay, right? So he's being cannibalized in your mind by the villa in a way that Sincere is not. I will acknowledge this. I do not like the fact that Sincere gets away with everything. Right? I do acknowledge that it looks bad. It is bad. I hate it. Now let's talk. Social dynamics are super important. And we know that Casey does not seem to be the best at thinking foresight. He jumped behind plant doors thinking that women were going to be there, right?
And he aligned with the likes of Corbin, of all people. Yeah.
He does not know how to speak well, right? And he does not do the social game that Sincere does. Who do you think is more likely to have allies in the house, regardless of what they did? Sincere or Casey? Now, I'm not saying this is true or that this is even right, because one of the things we have to acknowledge is right and wrong is wrong. And when someone does something wrong, even if that's your friend, you should be able to hold them to task. But it might not be racism and colorism animating these people to act so much as it is a connection with that person that runs deep enough to prevent them from engaging in the kind of accountability that one would expect, particularly if someone engaged in the behavior Sincere engaged in and is not friends with the people who are going to talk about it.
There are just so many differences between Sincere's situation and Casey's situation, especially as it relates to the dynamics in the house. And I feel that people are pretending as if they're one and the same really deeply irritates me, because Casey had no couth at all whatsoever. He completely lost his damn mind in Casa Amor. He was saying things that could not be, he was saying unforgivable things that could not be explained away. The one thing you can say about KC is Sincere, is the vast majority of the things that he said that ultimately hurt Melanie, nobody was around to hear. It was between him and that person. Soul is gone, right? So the only person that he had to worry about in that moment was Amora. And it's not like she was running everybody down to tell them the details about the things that they discussed. Only the men saw them kissing up, but all of the men were doing that. So obviously they're not going to have an issue with that. But was Sincere speaking poorly about Melanie, or was he playing both sides, giving Amora the impression that she was the one for him while also sneaking off to talk to Bryce about how much he misses the person he left at the villa?
Right. And even to this day, the girls aren't that protective of Melanie, right? Anaya's mom had to tell Anaya to be honest with Melanie, right? The girls are very protective of Anaya.
Yeah.
And I'm not, again, I am explaining a behavior, right? I'm not actually justifying it, because I do think Sincere should be dragged more than Casey. I don't care what anyone says. I think Sincere should be dragged more than Casey. However, I was very taken aback at the flip. I saw Sincere act with soul. right? I know Sincere. It was a mind F for me watching Casey.
Mm-hmm.
I could not believe that's the same man talking about Anaya's melanin and her being the blueprint and how she's secure. I could not believe that's the same man who wrote that letter. I knew he was not connected to her, but I did not know he was a bad enough guy to just completely embarrass her.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, for me, the reason I am more prone, also he's black. So for me, right? So I am more engaged with him. And in my mind, I actually wanted him to win with Anaya. Because I thought this could be a moment where he was rejected, she was rejected. Them coming together for me transcended anything that I have politically or whatever. I just saw two people who were rejected making it work, doing their best, and choosing each other. And
Yeah.
there's something really sweet about that for me. And then he went to Casa. Before he went to Casa, the whole soul thing where he's assuring her that he's good, and then sowing doubts, but not really telling the guys that he wants to go explore. And then the guys are bringing up stuff during the challenge that he never told Anaya, and Anaya feels blindsided and is addressing it. Didn't like how Anaya addressed it, but she's addressing it. And there's this like weird thing happening with Casey where it is clear to the viewers that he kind of want to explore soul, but he does not make that fully known. And in fact, he tells us, the viewer, and the people in the villa that Sincere is doing that, he's not going to do that. Right? And then the last minute, he says, oh, I want to explore soul. Right? I would, if she did, I would explore her. Right? So is it true that, oh, Sincere, Casey, didn't do it because of Anaya's feelings? That's weird, because he said he would definitely do it if Soul stayed, and Anaya's feelings would not have changed.
Yep. What he said depended on who he was talking to. Because again, I will no longer allow people saying that he did not explore soul. One soul confirmed that he pulled her multiple times, and quote unquote, Anaya pulled him away every time. If that is true, then I would be the first person to criticize Anaya. But I would also say Casey should have put his foot down and not allowed that to happen. Yet again, he allowed his own experience to be disrupted by Anaya. And that is on him. It's not okay that she's engaging in that behavior, but he would be the one to check that. He would be the one to put an end to that. And he chose not to, and instead continuously reassure her that she had nothing to worry about. Just for him to turn around in the minute he no longer had to worry about Anaya interrupting anymore. He showed his whole damn ass. That's what happened.
Right. And if people are taken aback by that, people are taken aback by that. But let's be very clear. The people on the outside were dragging Sincere, mostly. The only dragging of Casey came about, well, one, people were surprised by the action. Some people took him off their client list. People were talking about it. I was talking about it, period. But even when we were talking about it, me in particular, I pointed out how Sincere was much worse, and Sincere got the lashings and the drag more than Casey. But I pointed out how drastically Sincere is Sincere. Casey became a whole new person.
Yep. We already saw what Sincere was capable of when it came to soul. The way he used her to get Melanie back in line and then discarded her when she was no longer of use to him. We already knew what type of person Sincere was. So when we saw him playing house with Amora, none of us were surprised. And again, the reason why the conversation became directed towards KC is because we were too busy trying to debate the obvious, what we thought to be the obvious, with KC defenders. We had nobody to argue with when it came to KC, because the only people who were saying, what about Sincere, was trying to deflect from KC and his inappropriate behavior. That is the difference.
Right.
There was nothing to argue about when it came to Sincere, because we all saw him for who he was. But we could not stay on him, because instead we had to go back and forth about how disgusting KC was, and y'all did not want to engage with that. That was the problem. So the same way y'all are the reason why the conversation stayed on Casey, y'all are the reason why he did not make it to the top 4. And y'all are going to have to take responsibility for that, not us. Y'all ruined that man's image. Because he ruined his image, and then he redeemed himself a little bit with the apology and staying on his P's and Q's and everything that happened after that fact. The only reason why whenever I went on TikTok or Threads, people were still talking about KC is because y'all were still making excuses for him. It was y'all.
Mind you, the only reason I'm making the video that I'm making about Casey is not actually about Casey. It will include, but it's also about kind of what I would hope he will do after the villa. Because at this point, to stay in the bubble of people telling you did nothing wrong is insane. Casey going on after Sun and essentially blaming everyone else and had to be reminded that he took accountability and then say, oh yeah, and I am ashamed of my behavior, is actually a problem for me. Because not only are you potentially going to ruin your own brand, generally, you might do well in a very specific niche category of manosphere, but as a general matter, you do have the potential to have mass appeal. You just need to actually stay by the apology you made and the accountability you pretended to have. And this, by the way, is why I do not accept the argument about racism. I am sorry, it is hard to accept that racism and colorism is animating the production and the people in the villa and the people generally in their response to Casey when everyone wanted Casey to win. When Casey was with Anaya, he was in the top 4. All the other men were getting dragged while Casey was getting praised. I will admit that I didn't believe nothing Casey said to Anaya, but I still... I allowed the support without actually dragging. I just, you know what? It is what it is. But you cannot make the argument that Casey is suffering from colorism and racism without showing your work. This requires your work to be shown. I am here to listen, but you've not provided anything outside of your feelings. And you are lying and you're wrong. The girl's been dragging everyone.
And because sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
What you're also going to have to do while trying to prove the racism against KC, what you're also going to have to explain to me is how the vitriol that's been spewed towards Anaya is like has no basis, right? Like explain to me how KC was subject to racism, but not Anaya or Trinity in a similar way. You're going to have to explain that to me.
Mind you, Anaya hasn't done anything. Anaya yelled at Casey, walked over there, immediately apologized. Made up. Casey and Anaya has made up. The problem I'm having with Casey is now outside of the villa, it feels like he is on the verge of walking back some of the apology and then blaming then blaming him being black man and his girlfriend TT being black woman as to why he's getting hate. And completely ignoring that when he was with Anaya, he was loved, and that is a black woman. And even with Trinity, they were still voted to stay.
No. I want them to do that. Walk it back all the way. Walk it completely back, and just give your all to the narrative that y'all have been victimized. Put that target on your own back. so that we can never hear from y'all again, because no brand deals will come your way. So go ahead and walk it back if you'd like.
Right. There is and in the way that Casey opened when he selected plans, the lack of foresight and game playing is also emblematic of kind of a larger problem of not knowing how to play the game and not knowing how to engage with other people. And also, more importantly than this kind of playing of the game and foresight and engaging in a way to accumulate and use power in an effective way, there's also this ego, right? And I said this already, I'm going to say it again. And in my video, whenever that comes out this week, I'm going to say it repeatedly. There is a juxtaposition that needs to be engaged with. The juxtaposition is with Casey and Carl. And I need you to really think about how they dealt with rejection. Because one might come to the conclusion that Carl is more mature and just really more engaged and evolved, or he's a better player at this game. He is better aware of public perception. And that might be conniving, it might be something, but I would prefer that than someone who just lets their kind of emotion runs wild and just go out there bleeding on everyone. Like, it is wild to me that Casey did not recognize that he's the only one of the 4 men who left his group that was literally in the top 4.
Because Corbin never stood a chance. Like, let's keep it above. Corbin and Kenzie were there for a good time. They knew what it was. They knew people don't mess with them like that, right? So you're right. It was about the core
And
4
Kenzie
men.
was never in the top 4.
Ever. She was never in the top 4. Casey fell from being in the top 4 because of his behavior.
Yeah.
Casey, so here's the thing, right? Whether it's Bryce, Carl, whatever, because I don't know any of these people well enough, right? I'd like to think that there's a connection there. I'd like to think that they're going to survive the villa and have like meaningful, loving relationships after this, but I'm not invested in it at all because I don't know these people, right? At worst, Bryce, Carl, whoever you want to say, they're focused on the long game. That's why they conducted themselves a certain way. Casey was focused on having a good time. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference in the outcomes? Like it just is what it is. Casey lacked foresight. That's why while everybody else was gearing up for the finale, he was on a flight back home. Oh, excuse me, After Sun. He was gearing up for After Sun. Probably the last time we're gonna see him on television for a while. No shade, just facts. Especially if he continues going down the path that I'm hearing he's going down when it comes to the narrative they're trying to maintain. I don't know what to tell you. Casey made his decision, and he made the decision that was not conducive with maintaining a good image and staying on the show until the end. That was not his focus.
No. Kata man starved her.
You see how people forget?
Yeah, I don't understand. Kata's man, Zach literally starved Kata before he left.
Zach starved Kata. Bryce tried to pull Kata on multiple occasions, according to Soul, to try to continue talking to her. Did everybody forget about that?
And Sincere was running amok with Soul right before they left. And then they got, to be fair, Melanie did say her and Sincere were in the best place they've ever been. That's not a good place. Melanie and Sincere have never been good.
Mind you, wait, hold on. So everybody forgot the kiss debacle? When Melanie going back and forth between Corbin and Sincere? That's I'm not making excuses for it, but is that not what caused Sincere to go pursue Soul to get Melanie back in line? Like, please, let's not do this. Like, come on now.
The idea that Anaya saying, "Oh, go do what you want to do," was permission is absolutely insane. I'm not going to engage with that because you are diabolically evil to take that as a justification. Now, if I'm a bad person, I'm going to say, "Oh, well, you told me to do that." Period. But let's be very clear. Sincere is the only one running amok before Casa. Sincere was the only one running amok before Casa. And one of the most disrespectful things to have happened outside of Sincere was Zach not feeding Kata. Zach literally turning his back on the duty of the man in the house or the villa based on precedence. You have to feed these women. And when Kata came down and said, "Oh, where my food at?" He's like, "Oh, you want me to make it for you?" And Kata's like, "No, I'm fine." Like there was a whole issue with Zach and Kata before Casa.
Yeah, he was, "Oh, sorry, I couldn't get to it. I got up a little late." He said some foolishness like that. Like he couldn't have been in the kitchen right then and there making her breakfast. Yeah, he knew what he was doing. And so did Kata.
Right. Zach and Bryce waited for Bombshells to pick them, but they didn't. So wait, Zach and Bryce waited for Bombshells to pick them, but they didn't. So they strapped in, I think, End Road
Yeah.
core four-way. No, that's what all of them were supposed to do. That's the whole point.
They literally did what they were supposed to do. Like they
Like,
literally did what they were supposed to do.
they need to make it to the end, so they're gonna get their best chance. It's the whole game show. And Casey was the only one. And in some ways, this is something that I did say in my outline for the video that I'm making with Casey. Casey can take pride in the fact that he did not do what was expected. He was his own man and made his own decision and didn't play by the rules. Like that's the way you can look at Casey. Casey went with his heart, which you can say it's heart. I say it's ego. Casey went with his ego and chose the woman who is there to sacrifice for him, who had to serve him in order to get to the villa. Let's not play these games. The Casa girls had to do what they had to do to get to the villa, right? And Casey chose that. Every one of those men in Casa, even Bryce, had women willing to serve them.
Yep.
Because all these women wanted to go over to the villa and get more time on TV.
Yep, that was the goal.
Right. And his ego could not say, you know what? Maybe the structure of what we're doing at Casa doesn't allow for me to know who you are. For real, for real. But he said, you know what? I connected with TT and I'm going to choose TT. And you can call that love, ego, whatever you want to call it. He chose what he wanted to do. And that meant he was never going to win. Period. Lay down.
Mind you, the same TT, like, oh, they have such a great connection. So why did Casey get so hyped when he thought that Amora was trying to pull him?
Right.
Y'all remember
Not
that?
only that, right. Casey was wrong for not scamming. I didn't say he was wrong for not scamming. But if we're talking about scamming, this man said him and I had nothing in common. So all that talking he was doing to Anaya before he went to Casa, what would you call that?
And maybe his goal was true love. No. Respectfully, no, it wasn't.
Wait.
Wasn't.
Right. Wait. What was Casey doing with Anaya prior to Casa?
I would like to know.
If there is one man that was refusing to actually scam, it would not be Casey. It would actually be Gal, the ugly one. No, he would be the only one. Literally, he knew that this girl was Jen was going to pick him. And he said, I want you, girl. Actually, I want Kenzie. I'm very attracted to Kenzie, the one I want. Right before elimination, and he knew it was about to be elimination, Jen still picked him. He broke up the relationship with Jen on the show and tried to pursue Kenzie and then got kicked off. That was literally the only man on the show that probably was not really scamming, if he's straight.
Yeah, no, he put himself at risk. I mean, that's why he ended up leaving. Yeah.
So no, Casey wasn't wrong for not scamming. Casey wrong for being dumb.
Yeah.
In his scamming.
I feel like it was initially his intent to scam, like especially once him and Anaya were just kind of put together and they got confirmation that they were a top 4. But he just decided that he wanted French fries more. Like it really is just that simple. He wanted play. He wanted to do what Corbin was doing because we all saw how much he looked up to him. Like literally, figuratively, and physically. Like he physically looked up to Corbin. So once they reached Casa Amor, he's like, oh, I'm about to wild out. And wild out he did. Like that was his goal.
Yes. Here's the thing that I don't understand with Casey defenders. They remind me of like Trump supporters. I'll also repeat this, where they will ignore every kind of circumstance that goes against what they believe to get to the conclusion that they want. The difference between that and what I do and how I engage, I'm willing to drag every single one of them. Every last one of them. Carl is the guy that I am the most, that's my favorite guy. That's the top guy for me, right? I dragged him immediately when I thought he said Kata was hot. Immediately. Immediately. There was no ifs, ands, or but. I didn't even think twice about whether or not I should. You do something wrong, I don't care how much I like you, it's a drag.
Yeah, I didn't write him off, but that was his one and only strike.
Right.
Until we got that much needed context,
Right.
I was like, Carl, this is your one. There will not be a second. We
Right.
will boot you off if we need to. It was just that simple.
Right.
Casey is wrong for repeatedly telling Anaya, I'm happy with our connection. I'm not willing to throw away what we built, when he knew he wasn't content with her and that they had nothing in common. Right. He lied to her. We now have confirmation that he boldface lied to her for the weeks that they were together. And he told us that.
Right. The Casey defenders have to rewrite history like this man is doing. It's situation management. This is what he's now saying that Casey was doing. Mind you, Casey don't even know how to manage himself, but he gonna manage a situation.
He doesn't even know how to manage his hormones, but yeah, he's gonna manage a situation.
Casey out there hiding behind, standing behind, plan, assuming that there would be someone back there. But let's hear it. If TT didn't show Casey what he was missing, maybe he wouldn't have realized they have nothing in common. Wait, you're saying Casey needed to be with someone else to realize he had nothing in common with the person he's with?
I'm sorry, was Casey?
No. Think about that sentence.
Right.
Think about that statement. Casey had to be with someone else to realize he had nothing in common with the person he's with. Not that he has a better connection with TT, but that he has nothing. Like, how do you not realize you have nothing in common with the person I know he can't do math because he was surprised that no one was behind his door, and I know he can't read. See, I'm gonna drag Casey for no reason.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is the position that Casey defenders have put Casey in. He's getting needlessly dragged because y'all keep coming with this foolishness.
Yeah, and let me drag that back. Ain't no reason to drag this man.
There is a reason.
Huh?
There is a reason, because we're just telling the truth. If the truth is a drag, that's on him.
Yeah, true, fear. But he apologized. I actually I don't have a bad, I did not like how he seemed to be walking back his apology.
Right.
But I do like his apology. I don't hate him. And so it is hard now because these people are doubling down on he did nothing wrong when he literally sank into the couch and hid behind the pillow when he was watching himself. He was disgusted by his own action, and his defenders are still saying he did nothing wrong. How are you? I just, ooh.
No, but I want, defenders, triple down. Quadruple down, because all it's going to do is further tank his image further and further and further, because unfortunately Casey is still a young man who lacks foresight, and he's proven that to us. So he's going to fall for what y'all are doing, and he's going to regress, and y'all are gonna be part of the reason why he does not reach the level at least he could have. I'm not going to say he's not going to get any brand deals at all. I don't have the power to say that, and I don't have the know-how. But where he could have been post Villa, he will never be, and it's partially y'all fault. So
I'm dropping a video tomorrow to but to suggest to him that there is a way out to get what he can, to get what he probably can get in the mainstream world. It requires him continuing to take accountability for the bad behaviors he engaged. And he already started blaming racism and everything like that. And to me, that's wild. Now, let's be very clear. Racism is always operating in the background. However, I don't think racism is what got Casey off the show, first. Nope. Second, Casey is not in the top 4 not because of racism. Casey is not in the top 4 because, honestly, most people do not care about the men on Love Island. It is the women. And it is hard for someone to build their own fan base, and Casey started doing that. Imagine if Casey and Anaya stuck together, and the black men who are now voting for Casey had actually cared when Casey was with Anaya and was not being problematic. No, actually imagine that. Imagine how easy it would be for this Black love representation to actually exist and take over the Love Island show if the men who started watching and caring and voting for Love Island contestants cared when black love was on the screen before the black man became problematic.
Funny. It's funny that y'all chose post Casa Amor to tune in. Isn't that interesting?
Why?
Where were you during the Blueprint conversation? Nowhere to be found. You were watching the World Cup. You were watching basketball. But yet, once you heard that a black man was getting dragged, that's all you needed to hear. You didn't want to know what he did. You didn't want to know what he was getting dragged for. All you heard was a black man was getting dragged. And here y'all came. Here y'all came in droves. And that is why. That is why he didn't make it to the bottom four. Matter of fact, congrats, guys. Y'all did a good job. Y'all did a great job. Y'all took out the trash for us. Thank you.
Theme is the defenders weren't even watching the show when Casey and I were actually together. They didn't start watching until Casa. Yeah, and part of what I'm going to discuss is the King Casa title and what that actually means, and how, again, there's a hope. I'm so bad at this because there's so much hope in me that he's young, that he can grow out of whatever this is and reject this idea of King Casa and say, I am not King Casa. What I did was wrong. The person that I became in Casa Amor is not how we should treat women, the women in our lives that we call the Blueprint. And I, without acknowledging anyone else, without talking about Anaya, without talking about resentment, say, I was wrong for my behavior. That's it.
Yep.
Without anything. And then maybe take some speech lessons and read a bunch of books and you'll be fine. You might need a month or two to get it together. You'll be fine. But if you come out here and lean into the manosphere rhetoric that I feel like you are going to do, that is going to pigeonhole you. You're just going to be on the zealous like Ace and the rest of them. So
right, that is your future. Go ahead. No, I mean, yeah, run with the I was victimized, I was singled out narrative. Yeah, that's gonna get you somewhere. I don't think it's gonna get you where you wanted to, though.
Fine.
I don't think so.
So that's the video for today. I wanted to address this whole idea of racism in Love Island. I do not believe that any institution, including reality TV, exists without racism. And so it is always operating. My issue is when it comes to Casey specifically, I believe they even gave him an arc where he had a whole scavenger hunt where he's the main character doing well, right? It's very difficult to prove that they dislike Casey and that was racism. Because you can dislike Casey for other reasons. It's going to be very hard for you to say they dislike Casey and it's colorism. Again, because you can dislike Casey for other reasons. And let me tell you this. The difference I saw in Casey is actually jarring. Like it is actually like when people go ahead.
I was just going to say that we went from not having much of an opinion on Sincere to seeing his true colors and writing him off. For Casey, we actually liked him at first. That's the difference.
You are full of it as a gay man. Wait. All right. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm full of it, period. You are not hooked on phonics, I see. As a gay man, at that, period. That made sense. And that's
perfect
just on that.
Because when in doubt, homophobia. When in doubt.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. There is a correlation between low IQ and lack of intelligence and homophobia. This has
or bigotry of all kinds, right? Yeah.
And low IQ. So, I mean, as a gay man, might just be a matter of fact in your head in terms of statement, but period.
Yeah. No, I don't see. You see, but this is what you have to do when you don't have much of a point. You know what I mean? You got to bring up stuff that don't have nothing to do with nothing. Like You just gotta like grasp at straws and just hope that you upset the person and distract. No, we still on that ass. And Casey still went home. Casey and TT still went home. I hope they got the window seat. You know what I mean? Got a little view of the island as they left, but it is what it is. And y'all have yourself to thank for that.
You want to know the worst part about this? You want to know the worst part about this?
What?
I know this is a fact, and I said I wouldn't vote, but we have to talk about this quickly. You and I both voted for Casey and Anaya. And not Anaya, TT.
Could you believe it? Would anybody think? Would anybody think that I voted for Casey and TT? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to vote for them because I do see something there. And then I went on social media and immediately regretted my vote. That's what happened.
Same. I voted for them because I was not voting for Zach. That was not going to happen.
It was not going to happen.
I'm not voting for Kenzie ever. That you literally, it never going to happen. Never voting for Casey, and I am never voting for Zach. Never. I refrain from vote before I vote for Zach.
Yep, I voted for TT and KC. Now they weren't my first, second, or third, but they were in my top 4. That's all they would have needed, right? And y'all are the ones that made me regret it. But what was done was done. So I fully expected for them to take that number 4 spot. They still wouldn't have won. But I'm like, oh, y'all get another day on the island. Sunlight. But they didn't deserve to stay there.
Funny enough, I regret it, but regret implies that given the chance to do something different, you would. Right? That's what regret implies. I don't necessarily know that I would do something different because I am not voting for Zach and I'm not voting for Kenzie. Therefore, I mean.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I see what you're saying because I probably would have voted for them again, especially if once I got confirmation that they still wouldn't make it. Oh yeah, I'll throw my vote. I'll throw my vote away. I will throw my vote away. Listen, they had to tell us, make sure you vote for all 4 people. And you know what? That's another part of the reason why they probably didn't make it to the top 4, because y'all probably didn't even read them damn directions. Y'all went, selected Casey and TT, and then went on about your day, not realizing that disqualified your vote because you were supposed to vote for 4 couples. Right? Not only that, could we talk about this as well? So many of y'all were so adamant on not voting for Brinity or Karnaya that instead you voted for Casey and TT's main competition, which were Zach and Kata and Melanie and Sincere. Don't y'all feel stupid?
Right. And anyone who voted for Kenzie should throw their vote away because that was never going to happen. Y'all were just dumb with your vote. I mean, period. I don't actually disagree. I feel dumb for my voting, but I would do it again. I would do it again.
No, I don't feel dumb. That's fine. But y'all should feel dumb.
The problem is for me, I don't dislike Zach, and like my video is never about disliking KC. Like I do not dislike this man. I actually believe that his apology was sincere. I felt it. I actually liked his relationship with Anaya after they got past that foolishness. I think that it's hard for him to grow in a community that tells him after he did something wrong that he did nothing wrong. Right? Like it's hard to self-reflect and hold yourself accountable if the people around you are telling you you did nothing wrong. That's the problem. That is a problem. That is a feature of our community and not a bug. And that's the problem that I have with so many Black men that do bad things and get all the support. I'm talking about every one of the celebrities that ever got on trial. Every last one of them.
Every single one.
And so there is this like consistent support for bad behavior because racism, sexism, whatever, well, racism, not sexism, and colorism, and we ignore the harm caused to Black women in defense of Black men. And then we go online talking about cannibalizing Black men. That man ain't got no cannibalized. That man got love and support. Not only did he get love and support, he was voted to be in the top, 6, right? He was in the top 6. Not only was he in the top 6, he got there with a lot of people supporting him, and the people in the villa forgave him, showed him love, and they were fine. They were all fine.
Let's not forget that the only reason why he even felt comfortable apologizing to Anaya finally was after Anaya apologized to him for getting in his face. Can't forget that either. So we can't even give him full credit for that. It would not have happened had Anaya not been the bigger person to go over there and apologize to him first.
Right.
But no, I can't say that because then the KC defenders are going to say production was behind it, but KC's apology, that was all him, right? Oh, okay, yeah, period.
Right. And then some of them people gonna go up there and said they want Mel to win. Mel and Sincere on After Sun. Like think about that. These people did. Who did? I think that might have been Casey. Who did
Casey and TT?
TT.
And guys, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Casey and TT for sure said Melanie and Sincere. I thought Corbin and Parmita said it too. That's what I think I was mistaken about. And Dylan, I could have sworn I heard Dylan say Trinity and Bryce, but I could be wrong about that as well. Corbin said it too. Okay, so I'm not bugging. Corbin did say it too. You damn bum. All of that crap that you talked that day, you and Parmita were in agreement that it should be Melanie and Sincere. Now all of a sudden you're rooting for them. This is what we're talking about. The lengths they would go.
I might not make the video for each of the men because I wanted to, but I might not. It seems like a heavy burden and no one cares. But I think Corbin, the praise he got for standing on business after he came out of the villa, he explained that the reason he was mad at Sincere was essentially you can lie to them girls, but don't lie to your boys.
That's exactly what it was.
And that to me is absolutely diabolical and insane.
Corbin does not care about women at all. And that's why it's kind of, because don't get me wrong, like I saw it for him at times too. So I'm in no way like talking down to anybody. Let's leave Corbin in the past, in the dust where he belongs. He's still most likely colorist, and he is misogynistic as all hell. Yeah, he looked good. Yeah, he's 6'4". He's still a trash person. So I feel like we need to stand on that. Let's not allow him to redeem himself. Let him stay his ass in Miami.
Don't forget, Casey pulled it down and told her to chat. Yeah. Go first. That's him. Yeah, and then everyone is like, "Oh my God, you just don't understand. He doesn't get the space to speak." Casey don't want to talk. So people are like, "Oh, this was Jesse Wu." Jesse Wu was like, every time he talks, they interrupt. He pulled Anaya. And Anaya was gaslighting him when Anaya said, TT was talking for you. Mind you, Casey then praised TT for speaking for him. You speak up when I know what to say. But Anaya was gaslighting Casey when Anaya was telling Casey that TT was speaking for him.
Like, please choose a side, please.
Literally, Casey was like, "Thank you for speaking for me. You speak for me when I don't know what to say."
Like why don't y'all listen to Casey when he speaks? Like, why don't y'all? Why are you talking to this young man? But isn't that crazy that they're saying that they're criticizing the girls in the villa for not listening to him, and y'all are not listening either. Everything that he's saying, y'all are completely disregarding in order to further your own argument, in order to run with your own narrative.
Yeah, like you're like Anaya gaslighting Casey because Casey is telling her he didn't get to talk. No. Anaya not gaslighting nobody. Casey was being spoken for by TT, and he praised TT for speaking for him when he don't know what to say. So it's a top girl. You play entirely too much. Entirely too much.
And side note, Corbin is not that smart, nor is he that real. The bar is just lower for him because he's so attractive. He does not care.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have as much consequence as the other men may have. But he's not in any way like actually better. Right. But anyway, sorry, what were you saying?
Love to hear your thoughts on Blue Centric. So Blue crashed out about Soul and called some black women all kinds of. She cussed them out essentially, and said Soul should come behind her because she gonna protect Soul. That was very off-putting for me. You said them black women have low self-esteem, that's why they don't like Soul, and Soul is so pretty. Essentially, I think there is a bunch of people who are like, confused why Soul ain't get chosen
Mm-hmm.
in the house. And apparently Soul just not that girl. Like
Like I hate to
they ain't pick
even
her. They ain't
I,
pick her.
I hate to even talk like that because we know that the men are the problem in that they don't feel the need to pursue women anymore, even
Yeah.
though, even when the woman is like highly sought after, right? Or at least theoretically, a soul would be highly sought after in the real world. But this new batch of men, they ain't with that. Like they want the easy girl.
Yeah.
And soul isn't that. So that's why she did not have the experience in the villa that she expected to have, that the rest of us expected to have, but it kind of just is what it is. But to imply that anybody who's critical about her behavior is immediately jealous of her, no shade, you're exposing your own insecurity.
Yeah,
If that's
well,
where your mind is going, no, we got to be honest about that. If that's where
period.
your mind goes when a beautiful woman is criticized, and don't get me wrong, I do like jealousy is a thing. Jealousy is a thing. But if the person is making valid points, you don't get to play that card. And
Right.
if you're refusing to actually engage with the critique, you're like intentionally doing so. You're intentionally missing the point and trying to make it about something else. And I have to question why. Like it doesn't really make sense. I haven't seen, well, okay, I've seen Soul get dragged, right? But every time I don't engage with stuff that's just about like trying to come at somebody for no real reason. I'm listening for the critique. I need for there to be something here, because if I'm picking up on some type of jealousy, I'm going to keep scrolling. I'm not engaging with that. People are making substantial critiques about Soul and the things that she said. Again, perfect example, her calling Casey a PUSSY. If how Anaya has engaged with Casey is a problem, have that same energy for her. But why could Soul be behind you but not Anaya? That's
Right.
very interesting.
Because you gonna protect Anaya Soul, and you gonna say they disrespected Casey, but you Soul is your client, because Soul definitely disrespect him in a very uncalled for way. The way Soul disrespected Casey pissed me off, because Soul believed she was pretty enough for Casey to leave his connection to come to her. That is out of pocket.
Right.
You the
Like
bombshell.
and
You
she
are the
didn't
bombshell.
she didn't even want to pull anybody. She wanted to be pulled. She wanted these men to not even potentially, but like absolutely disrupt the connections they have already been fostering, just so they could be seen walking up to her and pulling her for a chat. Like that doesn't make sense. You came in as a bombshell. I understand that they don't have much of an option. Like you're kind of whatever production tells you are, but you knew that was a possibility when you signed up. You knew
Yeah,
that.
no. All right. I think y'all are being dishonest. The other women were jealous of Soul in that villa. I don't actually know if the other women were jealous of Soul. I'm saying the people generally critiquing Soul, I don't think that's jealousy
Hold
that they're
on.
coming from. Wait, so and the women can be jealous as they want. They're not the one who ultimately removes Soul.
That number one, the girls did not
I hate
remove
to
Soul.
say it, I would never. Absolutely not.
The girls were not the ones that removed Soul. It was the men. And this comment suggests that Soul was the only beautiful woman in the villa, and that's the farthest thing from the truth. Like
Right.
I'm gonna need like actual definitive proof that it was simply because she was beautiful and there was no other reason.
Also, Kada came up in there and became all of their friends after fighting with Melanie, right?
Right.
So I don't know that beauty is a thing that gets women rejected, but I know that Soul walked up in there and thought the men were going to come to her, and they did not. Sincere was the only man that came to her and then chose his connection and chose to stay in his connection. The problem is Soul ain't bombshell. Soul did not go in there and bombshell, and that was her responsibility to have a conversation about Soul and the fact that Soul was kicked out of that house without acknowledging that Soul failed to do her one job, which was to be a bombshell, is absolutely insane. In the real world, men might come up to you, but there's 100K on the line, and none of them men are about to leave their connection. So it sucks for you. It's a game show.
Wait, I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. This comment made me giggle. Themis and DJ, stop the fake outrage. Y'all don't care about Casey. Y'all don't care about calling him the P word. So you're using it as a shield to attack Soul. You know what? Let's stop defending Casey altogether. Let's just
No,
try
no,
it.
no.
Like, I feel like that's what you want.
Okay. Here's the thing, Sir Fat Goat. Here's the thing. Become a member, $9.99, and go back to that episode where Soul called him the PUSSY word in real time. Because what happens is after every show, we come live together. DJ and I come live together. And there is a live stream where I am pissed at Soul right after she went live. This was happening on Saturday. So we didn't come live after. We came live on Sunday in real time. That weekend, we came live and I pointed out, dragging Soul, for how disrespectful she was to Casey because Casey wanted to stick by Anaya. Even if Casey wanted her, he did not go out of his way to potentially lose a connection with Anaya in an effort to get to Soul. And we pointed out it was Soul's job to go pull men, not the other way around as a bombshell.
This is how I know y'all are just so miserable in your everyday life, no shade, because we're actually even when we do speak in Casey's defense, y'all are still not happy. Like, I don't understand how that works. Like, you say things like, what about Sincere? What about Zach? What about all these other people besides Casey? And we're in the middle of speaking in Casey's defense, and that's still not okay with y'all because we're also critical of Casey. Nobody is above reproach here. And that's what y'all have to understand.
Yeah. My morality is not predicated on what people like or dislike. I'm going to tell you how I feel about something. And if I get new information that indicated that I'm wrong, I correct myself every single time.
And by the way, Kata absolutely bombshelled. She's been stuck on Zach since she came in.
Yeah.
stuck on him like glue. Kata bombshell to a disgusting degree, in fact.
Right. I mean, to be fair, yeah, she hang on to stay in the house, but like, let's be not very clear. I'm just annoyed at Kata, but yes, Kata did what she needed to do.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to like paint Soul as a bad person. Like, I think one thing that I remember saying about her, like, I loved how she would take compliments, like she would take them as fact. Unfortunately, I think that's what put a target on her back in retrospect, because in the moment, I remember thinking to myself when Sincere was like, oh, I love how confident you are. I just love how you're this and I love how you're that. I said, do you really? Because I didn't buy it in the moment. And ultimately, we saw how the men acted. They don't like a Soul. They don't like a woman who wants to be pursued, who knows that she's the prize and wants to be treated as such. That is why she got booted.
Right. First things first, let me say this. Fat Goat, if I drop the link, I know for a fact you're not going to come up.
You're not.
That's the part that's annoying. The people who disagree never actually want to talk out their disagreement. They just want to stay in an echo chamber where they hear what they want to hear, and that's just that on that.
Yeah.
For you to say Soul and Titi are objectively the best looking women on the show is absolutely insane to me. But not only is it insane to me, how you got to objectively.
Like, do you know what that means? Do you know?
Like, I need you to come up here and define objectively for me.
Like, please, like, come on, guys. Everybody low-key gets dragged over here. Like, we were dragging Anaya very early on for coming off the way she was coming off. Like, are you serious?
Anaya was not speared. The only person who did not get real dragged, and they got dragged, Trinity, when she set up their light to Mel talking about she team Sincere, she got dragged too.
Oh yeah.
Every last one of them people on that show got dragged. Every last one of them. Except Carl. Well, no, Carl, I dragged Carl.
Dragged Carl. He stepped out of line, child. We were on that ass. Like, come on.
Wait.
And if you hold on, wait. Oh, so you're still talking? Would you like to come up? I was waiting for you to comment again. Would you like to come up, Fat Goat?
Here. Let's go in the after show. Fat goat, here you go. Come up here and tell us your problem. You don't have to show your face. Here you go. Call needed to be. Period. I agree. The other thing, I have never. Oh, I was talking about blue centric. I generally like her take, even where I completely disagree. For some reason, when it comes to Love Island, and I know it's not me, I know for a fact it's not me, because I am not attached to any one of these people to where they're above critique, right? I am just taken aback by the people, Blue and Jesse, that I really like. Their take essentially ignores the facts. And that's a very strange thing for me. Like, as someone who is deeply interested in following the facts and going where it leads, even if you don't like it, it is hard to watch and engage with people who are completely disregarding the facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really difficult because I do recognize and acknowledge and appreciate emotions and the esoteric and having a knowing of sorts, but I don't use that as a basis for my argumentation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very difficult for me to like when someone like I know production said this and I can feel it and I'm a witch and I have the power foresight or whatever. Like I don't know what to do with that honestly because I don't argue. Yeah, I was gonna say in that dimension. But I just don't. So period. My grandmother protecting me might, but I don't know.
No,
Did you
but yeah.
talk about
No,
can
go
I
ahead.
say I'll watch the playback later if you have already. I think I did. I think it was the best date. I loved it. I
Yeah.
thought it was amazing. I don't remember if I did, but I
No, I don't think we talked about it. But no, I just think I agree with what a lot of people were saying online. Like it for me, when I saw it play out, especially when I saw the storybook, I said, "Oh, period, they won." I think what made me change my perspective was when the dancers came out during Trinity and Bryce. And I was like, okay, wait, no, this is given they're the winners, low key.
right.
But when it came to the date itself, like that was exactly what Anaya asked for. So I feel like that's something that we have to acknowledge. To my knowledge, or at least to my recollection, Anaya was the only one to state outright what type of date she would have wanted.
Yeah.
They were able to just follow it down to the T. Whereas for the other ones, I feel like they just had to kind of make it up as they go. Zach and Kata's date was complete and utter garbage.
No. I actually was like, y'all kept them there to play in them people's face. Because what kind of date is that? Literally, what kind of date was that? This girl made her here put on a cute outfit, and you're gonna put her in a speedboat with water splash. At that point, just make her swim to the date.
I think I just heard you. I think and I'm not saying this because I don't like I love Brinity. I love Brinity. My critique has nothing to do with them and everything to do with production. They wasted the jet skiing to the boat date on Brinity. That should have been what Zach and Kata did, especially once they got to talking and Kata confirmed that she owns a jet ski and regularly drives one. That would have been perfect for them. I feel like if anything, I would have rather them just repeat that than to have done what they did.
Mind you, Kata told one of them girls to not touch her hair too much because she don't want to mess it up. Ain't no production was going to put her on a boat and just threw water in her face.
Yeah, man. Oh, if they did Carnaya like that, I'd be livid.
How you gonna have her end up at the date completely soaked from the boat ride? Like that is
It was, and then the tough ass sandwiches. Like, come on, y'all could have. Because was this the plan for the number 4 period? Like with that, listen, imagine that. Listen, KC defenders. Isn't it great that Casey and TT went home? Because would y'all have wanted that day for them?
If that's no, that would be racism. For real, I would even push back if they let's say we were in a world where TT and Casey were the number 4 and that was their date. Oh, I would be pissed.
Girl.
What do you mean you put her on a boat, threw water in her face, find them in the middle of nowhere, and then give them a tough sandwich to eat? Like the bread was definitely out for too long. That was tough stuff. If that were Casey and TT, I would have a problem. No, you give
I
it
would
to
cackle first, and then I would have a problem.
no, I would have a problem. But give it to Zach, and I do not care. I don't have enough energy to care.
But
Girl,
no,
I saw that man. They were zooming with the boat, and at this point, I'm like, just throw them in the water. At this point, just throw Kata and Zach in the water and let them swim. Because
by the
ain't no
way,
reason.
because somebody just said in the comments, and that's what jogged my memory. Since Carl has been not chosen, since Carl came back out the cake, everybody's been saying Princess and the Frog, Princess and the Frog, Princess and the Frog. What I'm going to need Sincere's unattractive relative to explain to me is why Shrek came to mind and not Princess and the Frog, like people have been saying.
Right.
Very intentional. But anyway.
I don't need them to explain anything. I come to my conclusion. It's a chop for them. No, I think production would have done something nice for Casey and TT because the audience wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it. No. I promise you that would have been a problem. Because, like, in my head, the way that the date operated was to tell me who the production like and doesn't like. You're not about to tell me the production like Kata and Zach. It's not going to happen.
They were like, y'all should not have been here.
The fact that you all first they were walking around this like desert with bulrushes, like I thought that they were gonna be like Joseph, like there was gonna be a burning bush at some point. Like you it was just like I don't know. And Kata lying self talking about, oh my god, this is so beautiful, and then they jumped on like a jet ski thingamabob, splashed. In like they completely soaked, sent them to a table, like literally just a table, no setup, nothing. You know how Anaya had ornaments and things in the middle of nowhere, just a random table, 2 chairs, some bread. Have at it. Have a conversation. Mind you, Mel and Sincere in the middle of the ocean on a
I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, making pizza. I'm like, wait a minute. They might win. And then I saw Kata, and I'm like, they definitely go win. And then I saw Anaya's, and I was like, oh, Anaya winning. And then I saw Trinity, and you were right. When them dancers come out, I was like, oh, all right, well, we know who the top 2 is.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. No ifs, ands, or buts. No ifs, ands, or buts. But I'm not gonna lie, I really dug. Even though more effort was put into the last 2, I really liked Melanie and Sincere's date as a concept.
Oh no, that's my favorite. That's the one I would want to be on.
Yes,
I would
beautiful.
want to be on the making pizza in the middle of the ocean with my phone for Instagram. But that's the one I wanted.
Getting rubbed down, getting the full body rubbed down, followed by some pizza.
That part. I forgot that part. But yeah, no. That's the one. That's the one I would. If I had to choose a date, that's the one I would want. The most aesthetically pleasing and the higher budget ones look like Anaya and Trinity. But the one I would want is that one where we're making pizza in the middle of the ocean, getting a massage. That's the one I want. Yeah. That's
and because obviously I'm just not a fairy tale girl, as beautiful as I found Anaya's, that was so specific to hers. My number 2 obviously would be like Trinity. Again, like it was beautiful. The lighting, the show that they put on, like all of that was amazing.
If I were a kid, I would have just been like, okay, y'all just send me home. Y'all ain't got to back.
Like, wow, y'all really hate me bad.
I already don't like blending my hair. The fact that you're going to have me out here in the middle of the ocean and get my hair wet is absolutely insane. To send me on a date to sit on a chair in front of a man while you threw water, you literally threw the ocean in my face, is actually insane.
And it was so...
It was so bad that Kata came back and lied. Kata came back, and instead of describing her date, she went ahead and said, yeah, no, he told me he loved me, so that made the date amazing. She straight up lied.
No, what killed me, and I don't know if it was editing or if like Sincere really is just this fake, because all Zach said was like out of nowhere, we heard like a motor, and Sincere was like, wow, like Sincere, stop, you were in the middle of the ocean. Sincere, please. Like he didn't even say the fun part yet. Oh, dang. I feel bad.
No, it's the fact that Zach and Kate had to pretend they were excited. Can you know they were? Imagine Zach, was it Zach or Kate? One of them people took that that sandwich and really tried to bite into it, and I'm watching. I was watching like, let me see. Kate, it was Kate because she was like, oh, it was all bread.
Oh my God. They hated them. They hated them. Oh my gosh, they hated them.
Like, my thing is, if you're gonna put me in the wilderness, if you're gonna part the Red Sea and put me in the wilderness, just know I'm not going. I ain't going. And if they did put Casey and Trinity, if they put Casey and TT there, I would. If you had TT dress up and you put her in that boat and splash water in her face and on her hair and drove her to the middle of nowhere, and you're not going to a water park where there's water events happening, and you expect them to sit and have a dinner, or we would have a. Oh, it would be up. I would be dragging production. I would.
Yeah,
I
man.
would
No,
be dragging production.
the way they just strung that along together, like, and I only saw last year, and I remember, well, I skipped like 2 or 3 of the dates, but
Oh, what if they didn't actually expect Kata and Zach to be there, and they had a specific date that was like around someone else, and they just
like
kind of
Casey and TT.
yeah, like maybe they had like
Yeesh.
because they keep talking about where they're from. They probably had a date that was like specific to them because this looked like a lot of planning.
This is something that you prepare for. Like, that's
Yeah,
not an excuse. You knew
yeah.
who you. There were only what, 6? Was it 6? Yeah, there were only 6 couples left. You should have. I mean, they
One
already
for
knew.
each.
They already knew Brinity and Carnaya were going to make it. The other 4, you needed to prepare for all of
Yeah.
them equally.
Right.
So
And
yeah,
even if
no.
you give me one day, I could come up with a better date. I could come up with a better
Like,
date.
even just down to the cuisine, right? It had potential, but it's just so very clear that they did not put in as much effort. You
You
keep
just said
laughing.
cuisine. No, you said cuisine when they only got bread.
That's what I'm saying. There was no cuisine. Like, it's one thing if it was like fresh caught fish. Like, they could have done something. Like, y'all gave them stale ass fucking breads from a nearby deli. Oh God, they didn't deserve that.
That is exactly what Zach deserved.
Well, yeah, Kata didn't deserve that. I'm saying, y'all can say where's the cuisine. I'm saying there was no cuisine. Like, I'm saying that could have been what put it above. Like, damn, you couldn't give them a seafood boil. Like, damn.
Yo, when I saw that both racing and the water splashing over both of them, I was like, oh, where are they going? They're probably going under the sea. Like, I thought they were going to do something.
And it wasn't even scenic. You have to like really enjoy nature to think that the sights were like enough. Like, the water wasn't even blue. Which part of the island is this?
I think that Kata and Zach knew they could not win at this moment. Their faces when Anaya was showing the book. Yeah, I think when Zach and Kata saw that book, that book, they were like, "Yeah, girl, it's a job for us.
This
We number
is
4.
reverse racism.
We top 4. We top 4. We not 1, 2, or 3.
That was reverse racism, and nobody cared. Nobody cared.
Mind you, people talking about how poorly Casey was treated.
Ooh.
And for me, that was the height of disrespect. Like, that was and then they're going to tell you, pretend to be excited. Because you know they were told to pretend. Like, Kata, this is the best. Kata, don't lie. Kata, please don't lie in my face. That is not the best first date you've been on. That is not a truth.
Damn. They're actually wicked for that. Like, they could have put in so much. For all that, I would have rather them.
You saw what Charlie said. You saw what Zach was.
They said, Charlie, please. They said, Charlie, please, not now.
Charlie was like, girl, why you got my brother at the swamp?
They couldn't even engage. They said, Charlie, please.
Charlie, please. Not. You want to know something? at that finale, this is the first time that Zach has ever not Zach, ew. Bryce ate them guys up. Because for 35 episodes, y'all been telling me Bryce is a model. Bryce is a model. And I'm trying to find weird because them fake jawline was not it.
Yeah.
But you want to know when it was? When the final walkthrough where they all had like columns of their pictures. When I say Bryce and Trinity ate them pictures up, I don't know if it was the picture they chose, but they killed that. They absolutely killed that. Also, separately, I hated the fact that when they're doing their like separate movie nights about their love, I don't know why, but I hate the fact that they included Anaya rejecting Carl and breaking down.
Why? I hate y'all for that. I understood why it was part of the story because, like I said before, Casey was the ogre of the story of the fairy tale book, right? I get that, but why did we have to see her heartbreak again in the montage that's encapsulated their love story? Yeah. Like, come on.
No, Bryce is like I saw the model for the first time. He was very photogenic, extremely photogenic. He is very photogenic. I don't know what that first picture of the first look picture did. Absolutely not. But on this, them walls, I was like, oh, period. Him and Trinity ate down. Can't say that for the other couple. I actually thought that Kada and Zach would have eaten. Not to me. It was a chop. You want to know who else? I did not know how Jen became a bombshell.
Stop.
No. I have to. But then I saw her pictures. And the pictures she took with Gal, I won't talk about this, the Gal photo shoot, because I'll bring it up in my video about Casey and who he should try to mirror after. But she ate that down.
She looked good.
Yeah.
She looked real good.
Yeah. She's very photogenic. And you can't trust them people who are really too photogenic. Because then if you're too photogenic, then your pictures look like 10 times better than what you look.
Stop. I agree with the girls that said they feel like Jen should have been an OG and Kenzie should have been a bombshell. Kenzie had that in her. What Soul was refusing to do, Kenzie would have done.
I mean, Kenzie pretty much was a bombshell. She just really didn't have the title.
She would have made a great bombshell.
Yeah, Kenzie said the first thing she does in the morning when she gets up is read her Bible because she's a good conservative woman, Christian woman.
When did she say that?
I forgot when, but it was before the show.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm sitting there like, now Kenzie, it can't be the same Kenzie. That can't be the same Kenzie. I refuse. So Karnaya likely to be the most successful. The past few season runner-ups had the most success. Also, Karnaya is very marketable to fans with purchasing power, high-end brands, and sports collection.
I agree with this.
Maya just sent in. You sent a $10 super chat, and thankfully, DJ agree with you. I do not.
Really?
I do not.
Why do you?
I ain't gonna say that in public.
Okay.
We're first of all, we're second of all, more marketable than who? Are we talking about if we're supposed to take pictures and they're modeling in the Oat Bluff-esque aesthetic? Who can sell more? Because it can't be. Look, Bryce is very photogenic. Trinity is both beautiful and photogenic. Who you're putting against them two on a picture?
No, I think they have a point when it comes to the edge, right? Like the sports collections, they're both athletes. Like, yeah, they would absolutely have that over Bryce and Trinity. But I don't really care to talk about who would be the most successful. I think all of them are going to do pretty well.
Yeah, okay, athletic, yes. Yeah. I will concede to athletic. That's
I
all I'm
will also
That's
say,
all I'm
like,
see.
those introductory photos were trash for like
Yeah,
majority
yeah,
of
yeah.
them. Like, I just don't think that was a good photo shoot, period. I just don't
Yeah.
think so unless you are incredibly not athletic, unless you are incredibly photogenic, I think that initial photo shoot would not do you justice.
Yeah. Anaya was the only one trending on Excess today. Anaya has a push currently because I think even I have felt the pull to defend Anaya because I had them people dragging her. And that's not okay. The way these
Mm.
men and the people have used Anaya as this kind of lightning rod in terms of misogyny is really frustrating to me. And so my impulse is to defend Anaya. I have grown to like Anaya, and I'll leave it there. Period. The end of statement. End of
Yeah, no,
statement.
we're just gonna have to see. We're just gonna have to see how things pan out, honestly. I am interested in seeing like the routes they all go.
Carnaya had the best date set up from production. I think it's between Anaya and Trinity. The one I want is
Trinity.
Mel.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I think that I don't think people are honest in what it is that pulls them to certain people and whether or not that pull can extend to support. I hope that I
Mm.
am wrong and you all are right. But what I know about Love Island and TV show generally, a lot of us, when we feel like someone has been wronged, we support them. Love that, eat down. Whether or not that support translates into record sales, hashtag Lizzo, whether or not that translates into meaningful purchasing power from us and engaging in that kind of transaction, whether or not we allow ourselves to buy into what they're selling after they've won what we want them to win, is yet to be seen.
I think for sure Anaya is gonna need some extensive media training. That's my opinion. If she get that and manage to like change her brand or her image slightly, I think she can go a lot farther than she's set to go right now. But Anaya, Anaya had a certain awkwardness that I think would be hard to market if she were to like remain that sort of socially awkward. Like that's my opinion as a fan of Anaya. Like Anaya was my number one, right? Sports, anything athletic related, she's gonna do well in, right? She got the body. She like her and Carl, that's their lane, right? Anything outside of that, are you still talking? The link was dropped. Like, child, don't even drop it again because we about to end. But what are you saying now? Y'all have no ability to be objective at all. Themis, you're a fake, nice, weird individual who tries to throw stones and hides their hand. Full-time pretender. Okay, great. Still in the comments, but great. What say you, Themis? What say you?
So fake nice implies that you interpret me as nice. So thank you. No, because people just like I usually say I'm mean and say what I mean, but like if you say I'm fake nice, that implies that at least the surface, you receive niceness, but you believe there's something beneath the surface. So I'm just going to take the compliment at nice and leave it there. Period. Because one thing for certain, two things for sure, I'm truly Jamaican in the way that I communicate. The period. I be telling Kilo and DJ that I'm nice.
Yeah, we know you think that.
But yeah, what were you saying?
No, it's just I see her doing very well and being picked up. Her and Carl, I see them doing very well with like athletic related brands. So anything dealing with or pertaining to athleticism, I see that for them clear as day.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just curious to see like what they do, like what options they do have at their disposal. I just do think that she can benefit from media training. I think I confused somebody in the comments. I really just say that because it's like sometimes when she talks, it's like she's trying to convince us of something. And I
Mhm.
feel like I want her to walk with more confidence. She is still a young lady. So this is not me like talking down to her. I'm fully acknowledging that she's still very young and has a lot of growing to do. I just think that those are one of the areas that she needs to grow in. Like I want her to, if she is going to continue to be in the public spotlight, right? If she chooses to just disappear after this, then that's completely great as well. That's her choice to make. But if she does choose to, ride this wave as much as she can, she is going to have to develop a certain level of confidence.
Yeah, and she's a follower through and through, so that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, she's going to have to get a handle on that as well.
Thank you both for holding us down this season. Themis, I know you're a provider, man, and don't need these two nickels, but I'm sending this for DJ's first round.
Aww.
I appreciate you, my friend. You want to know something? I'll just say it in the after show. Thank you, Princess.
Thank you.
I'm gonna meet up with DJ this weekend.
Mhm.
So, and I'm planning to talk about that. We already have a vlog. We already met up. So period. I appreciate that. Thank you. You're the sponsor of today's show, so I appreciate that. No, see you, see you pretending and failing at coming across as nice. You don't even sound Jamaican. I have Jamaicans in my room. I mean, you're not wrong. First of all, you're not wrong. The Jamaicans have rejected me, say I don't sound Jamaican enough. It might have something to do with the British.
They can get like that sometimes.
Mhm.
They're allowing the Chinese to run rampant, but God forbid your accent goes away a little bit.
You don't sound Jamaican is insane. Don't hurt my feelings. No. Seems to have a crush on TMS. He or she or they or thems does. Anyway, let's go into the after show. Thank you. Did we click the after show already?
No.
All right, let's go into the after show. My Thank you so much. All of your meals, everything is on me for you from now on.
Period.
I truly appreciate you being on with me and talking. And I hope you know that I did this mostly for me. Then, even yesterday when we didn't come live, we went to the Discord because I genuinely need someone to talk to about the show after I finish. Like, I have to decompress. So I appreciate you for doing this with me, DJ, and I appreciate all of you all, members and non-members, for coming in and experiencing Love Island with me. I enjoyed it. Like, this was a great season for me. People are like, oh my God, this is the worst season, period. Good for you. Hate that for you. I enjoyed my viewing experience.
Def did. Yeah, no, I appreciate your appreciation. This has been really fun. I appreciate y'all for tuning in damn near every night for the last 6-7 weeks. It's been a long time, y'all. I'm gonna get some good sleep starting tonight.
And I'm gonna go back to making videos. So period.
Period. But yeah, no, this is a wild ride, man. I'm just glad my girls made it to the bottom 4. That's just always a good thing. The representation, watching them just kind of be like loved and cared for and preferred out loud. Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. These people don't have to end up married with children for me to still feel like this is a good thing. Why is this back on screen?
Oh, my bad.
Ill, no, because he already okay, no, sorry. I didn't mean to say ill, but I'm just saying I really don't like that they included that in Anaya's montage. But anyway. Yeah, no, this was a good ride. I'm always here for Black girls getting their little redemption arc, being shown, now I won't say the preference because that doesn't matter to me, but just being treated well on camera. We need to continue to see that, regardless of the race of the man doing it. Like, we need to see that, and I enjoyed it.
Yes, I liked that. I can definitely see Ralph Lauren. Period. I actually can see this too. I see a lot of brands actually happening for all of them if they
Yes.
play their games right. Not if
Mhm.
I don't like Patagonia anymore, but I see it. But yeah, I do see this for I'm thinking you're saying Anaya and Carl. Um
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
You said something. Yeah, I was talking about brand like Olympics. Oh, Wimbledon. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, they'll get the sports brand down. Hopefully they'll get. Yes, that's the. Someone made a comment that they have the most cohesive brand if they were ever to move forward as a brand, a duo. East down. No, I see their brand. I thought they
Mhm.
were saying they're the biggest brand to come out of season 8. I don't think so, but they're a specific brand that has a lot of power. Like I do actually think that. Um, you said something in your closing that I
About
wanted.
like the representation.
Yes, 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 yes. All right.
Mhm.
People were like, "Oh, fake love, fake this, fake that, fake that." I care nothing about none of that. My
Nothing.
other part, all of it is fake. I love, particularly, this is how I became a fan of Anaya. Not even just a fan because I'm not like a supporter of Anaya. The way Anaya cried
Mm.
and said, "Pick me, choose me, love me," um,
Oh my God, that's not what she said.
and
That is not
literally
what
fell
she
out
said.
and literally fell out on the floor on my TV.
Nope, didn't happen. Fake news.
No, it was heartbreaking because watching that was humiliating.
Yes.
And for a person who genuinely cares and sees my mom in pretty much every black woman, it was hard to watch and really think about what this means as a message to the world.
Mhm.
And the woman that is discarded, in this case, Anaya, Trinity could not make up for that. Trinity is a black woman with a man who is into that. But Trinity's representation on its own does not make up for what Anaya was going through. Actually, it doesn't even feel related in any way, right?
Right.
So Anaya's representation felt like it was about to be the downtrodden black woman who no one wants. Even the black man go and disregard her, even for another black woman. And so she's just there as someone who came from a good family, whatever. And she was just there. I respect Carl for what he did in terms of the engagement with Anaya and refusing at every single turn to one, make Anaya work for him, two, make Anaya down herself. You need to notice this if you have.
Mhm.
Every single time that Anaya said, "I feel grateful you are here," Carl responds with something to the effect of, "It was always going to be you. I am the one grateful for you. I am the
Mhm.
one lucky for you." He has never let Anaya slide with the self deprecating approach to self talk that Anaya has. It is very frustrating to watch, by the way. But Anaya is always pointing out that she's happy she's getting a second chance, and I am happy you gave me a second chance.
Mhm.
And Carl repeatedly reminds her, "You are that girl. It was always going to be you. It was never going to be anyone else. I choose you, and I will continue to choose you. And actually, I'm lucky to have you, even though you rejected me," which she doesn't say. And for me, I respect that because I like Casey called Anaya fragile,
Mhm.
and the heart is a fragile thing and you should treat it with care. I love that Carl treated that quote unquote fragile heart with care. Loved it.
Loved
Every
it.
moment. There was no point with Anaya and Carl in their interaction that I dislike. And I'm grateful to have witnessed a woman who was discarded by Casey being treated so well. Loved it.
Mhm. Loved it.
No,
No notes. No
no,
notes.
no, no, no.
He's staying on his P's and Q's. What's his name? Casey. Oh, hold on. There's an echo. Casey self imploded
Yeah, yeah.
with even less pressure And Carl gave y'all nothing to say. I know y'all were just itching. I know y'all were just seething, just waiting for Carl to slip up, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, and even if it was fake, well, too late. We already got the representation. Bye.
Well, right. So we took from it what we needed to. They could break up today as long as I don't care, girl. I really don't care. They could break up today. As long as I see them getting some brand deals, stay on code. Get that money, get those brand deals. That is what it has always been about. Nobody who's truly looking for love would go on Love Island. Please be honest about that. Please. There are so many other avenues, not even just reality shows. Reality shows are is like the worst place to get this. The worst place imaginable. That is not the point.
Right. And with that, we can end. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. I will see you guys on Friday. Hopefully I can put out a video before Friday. It will not be tomorrow because I went way too late. Bye.
Night, everyone.